Well, the season hits crunch time as we go into the second half and we begin to descend on the final and work out who is going to be our champion here for Season 8 of the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan. We're here at the Bohlin's double header in Iowa, and there's going to be a whole lot of action because there's a whole lot of points up for grabs tonight. It's myself, Cam Roger, Ewan O'Leary alongside me, and Hugo Louise on the production of this RaceSpotTV broadcast as we bring you round number 5 and 6 of the season. We started back in September at Daytona before working our way through Chicagoland, Charlotte, Phoenix last time out a couple of weeks ago. Now we go to the 7th, 8th mile here at Iowa. 2 races tonight, full points on offer. So it's basically a double points evening. We have 2 races of 50 minutes. And it's going to be so important because we go to Pocono and Las Vegas over the next month to round out our champion. So 7 evenings of racing, but 8 races for this championship. And as we stand, it is very, very tight at the top. Your winner from last race, Alex Ericsson, goes to the top, but just by 3 points from Linus Broström. Jesper Eriksson yet to get a win so far this season, but he's only 4 points off the top. And Oliver Bohlin is there in 4th place as well. It has been all Polski logistics up towards the front. As we saw, even Kenneth Tier, he's 10th in the standings, but he's the teammate of Eriksson, Broström and Bohlin, and he got the win at the first race of the season. So it's very close up towards the front, but it could be all change here tonight with the big points on offer twice. As I say, it's going to be 50 minutes of action for both races, but we'll get an inverted 25 when we get to the second race. So it's going to be a tough evening, Ewan. We go to a very fast short track and loads of sort of places for overtaking, especially when we see the tyre wear come into play. It's certainly going to be an easy one for these drivers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we had, by the way, the double header here last season, if I remember correctly, at Iowa. It's a circuit that suits it, you'd say, but having the time limit is probably better. 50 minutes each, a stage at 40 laps as well, which we should easily get to because this lap time is only just 23 seconds in qualifying. Currently headed by Jonas Gunnarsson. And the second part of this is going to be very exciting as well because an inverted 25 means that actually all but one are going to be inverted. So there's going to be a lot of motivation for people to actually repair their cars, get back out there again. And also, it's pretty much the whole field. So it's going to be very, very mixed up in race 2.
That is very true indeed. How many drivers are out there? Yeah, it's basically going to be one person who's not going to be inverted. So that's going to be a not so fun one. If you're the driver at the back, don't want to be doing that one. With 26 drivers out there, but they are setting the laps. And the final ones are coming in with 30 seconds to go. But with how close it is around here, Alex Eriksson looking like he's going to be on pole position by over 1/10 of a second, which is a lot. We know he likes the short tracks. And this is another one here tonight. I'm really, really interested how we're going to see this, Ewan, as you say, stage on lap 40. So that is only going to be, 15 minutes odd into the race when we get going. And then after that, we have to see, assuming everyone's going to stop, change the tyres, then they're going to have to go to the end. Fuel is not going to be a problem, but they don't know how many laps it is going to be with a timed race where we have cautions. That could be certainly quite an interesting scenario when we get to it, but the grid has been set and we are ready to go. The Bohlin's doubleheader at Iowa Speedway is going to be Alex Eriksson, who's on the pole position with Jonas Gunnarsson alongside him. Linus Broström's there in 3rd place with Dan Holmer, Hagen Schott and Christian Gantz round out the 3rd row. Eriksson and Uvenen come in behind with Joel Wallen, Jokas Schuh, Lars Bolker and Kenneth Tier inside your top 12. Christian Löwen is having a difficult season. He's been involved in one too many crashes. He starts in 13th place with Dante Forsberg. Then we have Forsund, Erling, Kjellberg and Peter Helmbro down in 18th place. John Broström follows next with Ek. Jesper Eriksson, that is a crazy one for him to be at the back, the last of the drivers to set a lap, with Fredriksson alongside him. Hagman, Fagerberg are there as well, and then Skoglund and Motin starting from the rear. So 26 drivers, 25 for the invert. And that is going to be a horrible battle at the back if you're the one driver to miss out and go from pole position to last.
Yeah, and as I say, you're going to see a lot of drivers who get damage. I'm presuming there is going to be someone with damage at some point in this race, and you're going to see a real battle to get those cars repaired and back out again, because you don't want to be that one driver who is stuck at the back of the field for the second race as well. But let's see here what this race has to bring. I think it could be an unusual one, because we may well see a race where the only caution comes on the stage, or indeed we could see a race where it's going to be all cautions all the way through. We just have to wait and see, and especially see when they decide to take their pit stop as well. There's only one extra set of tyres per race here, which is not very many at all. You're going to have to time your pit stop very well, and I'd be very surprised to see any stops before the stage.
Yes, in that case, you're going to have to stop at the stage, basically, because tyres last, they're already going to be going off by lap 50, and if the stage is on lap 40, it makes sense to pit them, because you're not going to really want to pit after that if it goes green to the end. However, I think we're going to see a couple of cautions here and there tonight as we roll out onto the track. Second half of the season is going to get underway. 4 races done and 4 to go. Excuse me, but 2 of those are here tonight, and that is going to be a very exciting prospect. Drivers get themselves out onto the grid, and it's time to try and get the points. 2 races, a lot of points up for offer. We'll have to find out if the drivers are ready to go for the second half of the season. It's going to be Alex Eracingligan on the inside line in the 24 machine for Polski Logistics. He's going to take us to the green as the Bohlin's double header is going to start. We're going to have Jonas Gunnarsson on the front row alongside him. Broström and Holmer are in behind. These are all drivers eager to get up towards the front of the field, especially the 33 and the 79 there on the outside, yet to get wins so far this season. Arancson and Broström, they have already got themselves win. And even Jesper Eriksson, the driver, your champion, of course, from last season, yet to get a victory. He's down there in 21st place. He's certainly not paid. It's not one of those, when it's full points being on offer, it's not one of those things where you can sit behind and wait for the invert. You've got to get all the points that you can now, and then just try and work your way through when we get to the second race of the evening. I'm sure it's going to be a little bit darker when we get to that second race, so maybe the track conditions changing quite a bit. I think that's going to be a big factor with the tyres wearing. It's basically a couple of sprint races here tonight, playing the long game, not always what you have to do, but the tyres will certainly fall off by even over 2 seconds by the end if we get a long green flag run. 50 minutes are going to be on the clock. Stage at lap number 40, and it is going to be Alex Arancson in the number 24, getting the Bohlin's doubleheader underway here at Iowa. Round number 5 of the season. Jonas Gunnarsson gets a solid start, but in the background it's a terrible start for Dan Holmer. Has made a breakaway at the front with the top 3 as everyone gets through turns number 1 and 2 nicely.
Holmer very nearly, never mind having a bad start, very nearly crashed into the driver alongside him, which very nearly caused an immediate problem. On the front stretch, we've got trouble through turn 3. The 38 of Christian Gantz went proper sideways and saved it. Unfortunately, in the background, one car did not save it, and that is a big change down the field. Some of the drivers who've lost a lot of places include the... Oh, it's all changed again, so I don't know, but caution comes out through turn number 3. Gantz was so nearly the cause of it. He might have actually been involved in it in the end anyway. He did certainly lose a couple of places. He was a long way sideways. Robert Erling, it was, I think, who was one of those involved. He's down 10 places on the start.
Yeah, the red car, I believe, was Lars Bulka, and the 372 machine, the red and white Toyota. Let's see how this one worked its way with 3 wide. This is Broström in the middle, just slowing down. Oh, this was actually just after the incident. Here it is, as always losing it already. So the 38 has some issues up the front. He's losing it. As he gets a big hit from in behind. It wasn't actually the worst thing in the world because he managed to save it, but that was definitely a bit of a weird one to lose the back end so quickly.
Yeah, I guess just not expecting it when you're getting up to speed there. 2 pretty slow pace laps, to be honest, and that probably didn't do much for the tyre temperature here on a pretty warm day, admittedly, but nevertheless, a little bit colder than maybe it was in qualifying and through some of the practice laps that we saw proceed in this race, and just lost it completely on turn in. This is Gantz, and this is more understandable. He was tipped into a half spin by Tony Uvinen, but put back the right way again from the driver, who, by the way, has moved up to 5th place, top 5 in the championship at the start of tonight.
Yeah, not the worst crash in the world. So everyone is going to continue on. At the moment, it is Robert Erling who is basically the one at the back of the field. Actually, a couple of drivers have come into pit lane. So I think the lifetime will sort itself out, and I think it's Gantz who is just off the back of the field right now as they work their way round to catch back up to the pace car. And as you see on the top left corner, it is not a lapped race tonight. It is a timed race. Therefore, it doesn't matter how many cautions we get, the race will be done at 50 minutes and then we will go again. And we may see the situation where it finishes under caution a little bit later on. And with the laps so short, you never know if you might always sneak just one extra lap here, doing just over 20 seconds long. Yeah, it has worked it out. So it's Gantz, Brostrom and Kenneth Tier. They are the three drivers who went down pit lane already. Bulka, who was involved in that, stayed out, and he's still in 11th place, which is where he started.
Yeah. So this first stage in the race, I would say, is about staying out of trouble a little bit. I mentioned the sort of two potential sides of this race we were going to have. Was it going to be sort of green all the way until the first 40 laps and then we sort of get into a second phase, or is it going to be stop-start at the beginning? I think we've got our answer to that already, but now it's about staying out of trouble, because you know there is going to be trouble between now and lap 40 and probably afterwards as well. You've got to stay out of trouble now, and for those who've got damage, you've got to be very smart about when you come down pit lane, try and repair that damage. I think that's a little bit what Christian Gantz was doing. Kenneth Tier and Bruno Brostrom also coming in maybe to do a little bit of damage repair, but these are not long pace laps, so if you're trying to do the whole thing where you're repairing your car and then just dashing out before the pace car gets around to you, you really can't do very many seconds of your repairs under these cautions, because they are under 1 mile laps here.
But you do want to be staying with the pack and on the lead lap, because the top 25 being inverted for race 2, where we get full points, and I'm sure everything is going to change in race 2 compared to the grid order, but still a big opportunity for some points. We're going to get under racing once again. 45 minutes remain on the clock, and the Bohlin's double header is going to be underway once again. Aronson Gunnarsson, just like the first time of asking, are on the front row, but once again it's a terrible start from Dan Holmer, who can't get going. The top 3 breakaway once again. It's a carbon copy of what we saw in the initial start, but it's the 2 Pulsey Logistics cars who are getting off at the front.
Yeah, I wonder whether Holmer's starting in the wrong gear here, maybe, or he's doing something different to the rest, because he's massively struggling. Lucky, as I say, at the actual start of this race, he didn't cause a crash, and into turn 3, it's happened again.
2 cautions in the space of the opening 5 minutes. Both times of asking, we do not get a full green flag run before the caution comes out once again. Let's see this with 4 wide. Oh, this is Forsberg coming way down, going slow. Fredriksson gets into him, as well as I think it's Oscar Motin, and this is just not, I mean, he's going completely different speed to everyone else. That is a weird one.
I mean, it's a bit silly, isn't it? I mean, 4 wide on a restart at any stage is pretty silly, but actually when you're off the back of a 1 lap green flag run that came to an end and ended in a caution, what do you think's going to happen if you go even more aggressive and go 4 wide in towards turn 3 instead? That's pretty silly, really. And as I mentioned, so much of this race is about staying out of trouble. At least this first part of the race now is going to be about staying out of trouble. And, you know, going 4 wide is just not the easy way to achieve that at all. So we're back under caution, and this could go on for some time.
Yes, that was just a weird incident. You know, 4 wide, as you say, is way too much risk anyway, but then Forsberg was going so much slower than everyone else, and there's just no space for anyone to go. So, yeah, that is going to be an interesting one if that gets to the stewards room a little bit later. But at the front, the top few have been very calm so far. We've seen Robert Eriksson make up 3 positions already, Joel Wallen as well, so they are up into 4th and 6th place respectively, so they've been able to make some moves. The only mover in the top couple of positions really is Brostrom, getting past Gunnarsson as well, so now he's going to be on the outside, so Gunnarsson will be the one in 3rd place pushing the 24, so that's going to be slightly different. And also Holmer being overtaken, he'll now be on the opposite lane, so he'll be on the inside, not the outside, so maybe that will start. But that's a weird one, Ewan, actually, with Holmer. 2 starts in a row. It was almost carbon copies. As you say, it must be just the process that he's going through to get through the start, whether that's gears, how he applies the throttle, etc.
Yeah, I wonder if we could, in one of these cautions, whether we can see a restart or a start from his on board and sort of try and hear what's happening. But That's the only thing I can think of at the moment. It's very rare in this series that you see somebody going backwards so sort of obviously off the back of a start and a restart in such quick succession like that. That is making me think that maybe he is starting in the wrong gear or something. I mean, there is different advantages and disadvantages starting on the high side versus the low side around here. On the front stretch, the banking is 10 degrees, so that's quite steep for a front stretch, and that might be just catching a couple off guard as well. You never really stop turning either on the front stretch here, but yeah, it's unusual in this series that you see him do that. I think this time, though, for the first time, he will start from the inside, so I wonder whether that will help.
Yeah, hopefully indeed. If, as you were mentioning earlier, Ewan, we say again.
Sorry, they're doing a single file restart, I think, because of the two we've had so far. I think the lights are off, but we're doing a single file restart.
Oh, yes, good spots indeed. And just quickly before we get back racing once again, we did go to Iowa last time out. We had lapped races that time. We had a 69 lap race and 107 lap race. And it was Jesper Eriksson winning the first race and Linus Broström winning the second. Eriksson yet to win a race this season. Oh, how he'd love to sort that issue out so far. But he's not without trying. He's had some good results so far this season. He's currently down in 13th place, already making up 8 positions. Looks like we're going to be going back racing once again. It is going to be single file, spread out the cars a little bit more, and hopefully for the third time of asking, we can get beyond the first lap of asking. And for the third time asking, it is the Bohlin's doubleheader getting underway. Aronson from Broström at the front. Let's see how the drivers are going to work their way through the first lap this time around. Holmer did get a good start this time. He was able to get up to speed with everyone else. We're already looking at a 3-wide situation. Tony even on the outside, he backs out of that one. As we're getting Yokoshu having a bit of a send up the inside, but Leuven always pushing himself. So the drivers basically get a little bit frisky here as they're already looking to make some moves.
It's pretty tight through 3 and 4, and it shows that you don't need a double file restart to get the action going on the opening lap of a restart. You can have a single file start and it works just as well. Tony Ivinen working inside of Haken's shot here and trying to... Oh, crash behind! Inside wall as well. I think Jesper Eriksson's involved.
Jesper Eriksson and Yokoshu in the 37 and 34. We stay green flag though. Yellow flag has not come out. And it looks like we're deciding to continue racing. So those 2 drivers aren't going to be able to come back from that one. Let's see how this works. It's pushing up. Also, it's a 37 with a slight nudge of the 34 into the wall. Ping-ponged off, and both drivers went down. And despite these spins, we are still under green flag racing. And that is a big one, especially for Eriksson, who's going for this championship. And he's now having major issues, although it does look like Forsberg and Forslund are in the pit lane having further troubles.
Yeah, so it's good for us that they're on the pit lane together, because then I can't get them confused when they're on the track together. But anyway, not good for their race because it's top 25 invert, and they're going to be a race now to get those cars repaired as quickly as possible as well. Yokoshu also goes a lap down. Oh, spin for Tony Uvinen, and he's going to come back on the circuit here. He's backwards. Is this going to cause a caution? It probably will do. No! Oh, yes, it will finally. Goodness me. I would have been shocked. I was quite surprised Eriksson and Schu's incident didn't cause a caution. I would have been gobsmacked if that didn't. But finally, Tony Ivinen brings us the 3rd caution of the day.
Yeah, that is a weird one, but I guess they're trying to have some leniency to get the race going, but unfortunately not enough. So it was a good save, to be honest, of that situation. You were worried at this point that he was going to come back on track and go over everyone, but it looked like he just held it down enough that it wasn't going to cause an issue. So we haven't really got this race going at all. We once again go under caution, and we are going to have to sit and wait once more. I mean, is this a good thing for the drivers? Because the tyres, obviously, it's going to be lasting longer and longer. But lap 40, when we get to the stage caution, I assume everyone's going to come down pit road at that point. Although, with the amount of cautions that we're seeing, do you stay out and then just assume that you get a caution later on? It is going to be a bit of an interesting one because no one's decided to come through just yet.
But also, we are nearly at a quarter distance here. We're going to be at a quarter distance sort of almost before we're at the halfway stage of the stage, or before we get to lap 20. So I wonder whether we could see drivers coming in straight after the stage, because actually, and maybe it be a real disadvantage to staying out afterwards, because we could be over half distance by the time we've only done 40 laps, which would be pretty remarkable. But at the pace of cautions we're going at the moment, say if we get another 3 more in the next 20 laps before we actually get to the stage itself, then we would indeed be restarting after the stage, sort of with about 20 minutes left, 22-ish minutes left. So that would be not a lot of time at all, really, to delay your pit stop, then make your way back through the field again against everybody who has pitted under the stage break.
Talking of pitting, Ericsson's trying to indicate on the low line that he wants to go down. I'm not sure that is the one. No, they are going to stay out, because it doesn't really make much sense right now. When you have cautions back to back to back to back to back, you might as well just stay out, keep that track position and go along. But to be honest, and I was expecting like a slightly cleaner race, to be honest. I wasn't thinking, I knew we were going to get a few cautions tonight. I didn't think it was just going to be after a few laps each. We did have, in the short race last year, we had 7 cautions. And then in the longer race, we had 3. So I guess we're getting there, but this is quite something.
Do you remember that really long run to the end in the second race when the race restarted and there were about 2 cars on the lead lap because the pace car got confused, and then everybody else got confused about where they were supposed to be? Was that, maybe that was the first race, one of the races, certainly. There was a very weird caution, and then we had a really long run to the end. I can't remember who won, but somebody really unexpected won, and a very odd strategy and they sort of coughed over the line. It was very exciting, but unfortunately it doesn't look like we're going to have one of those sort of fuel game races here, no matter which way we do it, actually, because, and again, this is why I really dislike having a caution for a stage break. It makes an obvious marker to stop at, especially for these one-stage races, where it's after 40 laps and everybody knows what the score is, about half distance. It kind of detracts, and it's going to prevent us from having a race like we had last season, unfortunately.
The only thing is, we're having so many cautions now, it's kind of just another one that adds to it. But I guess you have the emphasis to keep the track position at least and stay out until the stage. Looks like it's going to be double file this time around. So I guess the organisers realising, well, it doesn't really matter. Single file, double file, they're going to crash anyway. So we might as well go to the double file standard formation. As we have Aronson on the inside, it's going to be Broström on the outside, Gunnarsson, Ericsson following behind, then it's Holmer, Wallen, Leuven, Schott, Volker and Fagerberg are your top 10. As the pace truck is going to come in once again. We're going to hit lap number 20, halfway through the first stage, and we've barely got going. Let's see if we can do it this time of asking. Aronson gets an amazing start, pulls away by a good couple of car lengths, and it's now going to be Gunnarsson on the inside trying to get Linus Broström for second position. This is going to allow the 24 to get off by a couple of car lengths onto the back straight.
Again, Holmer slow on the inside, not necessarily with the launch, but he's been overtaken by Wallen and Schott on the outside, or Schott still alongside him, and is now actually going backwards himself through turn 3. Do we get through cleanly this time? It looks like those first 3 cautions have almost shocked everybody into a little bit of calmness here in the opening lap. Let's hope it continues in this run.
Don't speak too soon, you never know. These guys are battling hard as they know there's so many points up for grabs tonight with the second race coming up after this one. Inverted top 25 of the result of this race. 34 minutes to go. It is not a lap race, it is a timed race. We're getting some contact, we're getting some smoke being pushed up into the air as everyone's trying to find a bit of space. Balker's trying to go 3 wide there. On the inside, that is so close. I'm hocking the shot and has to back out of that one.
And they get a little bit more single file for one of the first times tonight, really. A look down the inside, a little bit further behind from Marcus Hogman on Peter that's Hogman on the outside line, rather, being attacked by Elliot Fagerberg on the inside line. And just in behind them as well, Jesper Eriksson trying to regain some of these places after a pretty difficult race he's had so far.
And Ericsson did come down pit lane, by the way, so he has made a stop and he was put himself to the back of the line. That's why he's put down, but he's already made some moves. Caution comes out. Joel Wallen is involved this time. The blue and yellow machine, and he's got the meatball, so he's going to have to go back. That's a big hit there. And it was only a couple of laps, about 4 or 5 laps there we got under green flag.
Yeah, Evan Forsund and Dante Forsberg, by the way, are both back out onto the circuit. Jacques Schue is... oh dear, that's a big hit. No wonder there's a meatball there. That might be the biggest damage we've seen so far tonight, and so Bohlin might be the unlucky driver who finishes last in race 1 and starts last for race 2. That's a massive hit.
And that's a silly move by Leuven down the inside as well, considering we're only just getting going. Now, come on, boys, we want to get some laps into this race. And for the 6, who's having a little bit of a struggle this season as well, it's definitely not what he would have wanted. He's down in 18th place in the championship. He has had a top 5 finish, but in general has struggled a little bit more than he would have wanted. He's got 15 penalty points over the course of the season so far. That's the most of anyone. So the stewards have not been looking at him too nicely indeed, and hopefully he will be able to sort that out as the season goes on. And let's see if we're going to get a single file restart once more. Lap 40 is the stage. We're on lap 25 right now, 15 to go, and still 32 minutes. So easily going to get to the stage, of course. It depends how long we're going to get after the stage.
Yeah, if we had 1 lap green flag runs every time, even at that point, we would get to the stage within the 50 minutes. So that has obviously been planned by the organisers so that we can get to the stage. But it might come very, very shortly before the end of the race. Indeed, if this situation continues on, and if this situation holds, by the way, the top 2 in the championship would get the most championship points from the stage. Ericsson and Broström are only 3 points apart, as we saw at the top of the show. They'd be 4 points apart in this case, but the important thing would be the distance they have to the rest, because Jesper Eriksson wouldn't score any points, Oliver Bohlin wouldn't score any stage points, and Tony Uvenen wouldn't either. So that would be the real gain. That would be the real difference, because but first of all, Oliver Bollin's not here, and second of all, Eriksson and Uvenen are struggling down at the back.
What a fascinating prospect we have here. So many points on offer. There's a stage in the second race as well, so there's more points up for grabs. And just to reiterate, that's the top 10. It's just 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in for the top 10 positions. So at the moment, Lars Bulk will be getting 1 singular point as it stands. By the way, Jonas Skoglund up in 7th place. He's made 18 positions so far in the 83 machine. That is a great shout from him. Quite a few drivers actually making some moves after some drivers further up having some problems. We've got loads of drivers way down pit lane though. So Jocke Schue, I mean, he's still down pit lane. He's been there for 9 minutes. He's 13 laps down of obviously Joel Wallen there. It's really going to be a race for them to not be last, as only 1 driver will not be inverted when we get to the second race.
Yeah, and that battle is very much on down the back as well, as Jocke Schue drops behind Forsund and Forsberg. Schue has got to get out there quickly so that he can try and get past Wallen. He needs 10 laps of green flag running at least to be able to do that here. And at the moment, he's showing no signs of getting back out onto the circuit, so that could be a little bit difficult. But we're under half an hour to go, and we're only 13 laps away from the end of the stage. Let's hope that this time we can get a green flag run at least until that stage when it arrives.
Indeed, under half an hour to go. So we've had 20 minutes of the race. We've only had 27 laps of action. The pace truck is going to need a refuel at some point. Let's hope it doesn't come out too much more. Ericsson still leads from Broström out the front. Gunnarsson and Eriksson on that second row as we get the Bohlin's doubleheader underway for another time of asking. Green flag goes out. Terrible start from Linus Broström there on the outside line, and it is already black flag from Forsund, who obviously had a bit of an issue there and jumped the restart. Broström is going backwards though, as we've seen Leuven get up into 3rd place despite causing that previous caution. Robert Eriksson wiggling around there as he tries to battle with Broström.
Yeah, Broström has got to try and fight these guys off now and start to regain those places that he's just lost on the high side through turn 4. He's going to get clear of Eriksson, I think, although he's still got that little bit of an overlap in car 35. He's going to get clear now, and Skoglund is going to try and follow through here on Robert Eriksson. Nicely done on the outside line, which can really work at this venue if you can hold it there. Robert Eriksson in a bit of danger that this continues on, really getting squeezed there by Skoglund, who tries to take this 5th place away from him.
Pick up a dust on the wall thing from Broström as well. These drivers pushing so hard despite the stop-start type of race you've had at the opening portion of this first race here at Iowa. Let's work away in towards 3 and 4 once again. We remain side by side. It's Ericsson on the inside, Skoglund on the outside, who's now made up 20 positions. He's looking so fast in that 83 machine. He's got a big slide on though. He gets contact from Ericsson, sliding down the front straight. That's surely got to bring out another caution. He doesn't quite go past the 90 degrees though, so he might actually be unlucky there to not bring out the caution and keep him in the line. So he's got to get back up and going, but he's going to lose a lot of time.
Yeah, it's below the apron as well, so it didn't matter at that point when he'd gone into the grass where he was. He was always going to be fine from a caution. Just gets a little bit loose on the high side here, and he just hasn't got the space to gather it because Robert Ericsson's already there. It's not his fault, I don't think, Ericsson in the 35s. He's just running his line. It's unfortunate for Skoglund, really, that he didn't have the space to gather up that slide as he was fighting hard for that 5th position.
So he's down in 21st place. He's still made up 4 places from there, as such as his not great qualifying. But he's certainly got the speed in that car, but he was just being way too aggressive. I guess that's how he made up 20 positions, but he should have just held on to that for a little bit. But no, he's been way, way, way aggressive, and unfortunately getting into a bit of a spin there. So Löwen's up into 2nd place. He's got past Gunnarsson as well. He's looking very fast. Lap 33 we're on. The caution, the stage caution is coming back very quickly, and that's why these drivers are fighting hard. The laps go by very quickly at Iowa.
Yeah, they certainly do. And this looks like it certainly is our best green flag run so far. Let's hope that it continues on all the way to the stage. It looks like Christian Löwen is going to challenge Alexander Arutzen 4 at the moment. Less than 2/10 of a second between those two leaders as they try and get past Ericsson back here. This is Löwen working on a pass here from Arutzen. He wants those full 10 points.
He certainly does, and they can be so crucial for a driver a little bit lower down in the standings. It's not sort of playoff points or anything as such, but it is going to his standing, and that, when you have such a short 8-race calendar, every single point is going to count, and taking it off someone higher up as well is certainly going to help him in this battle. Having Peter Helmbro is having the race of his life as well. He's up 13 places. Hagman a couple of places behind. His teammate is up 16 places, just showing you that you can get further and further up in this race if you want to. Lap 36, so just a couple of minutes away from the end of the caution.
Yeah, and we're only just 1 minute away from half distance, so it's pretty much going to be exactly halfway when this stage break comes out. Löwen continuing to apply the pressure here on Alexander Arutzen, who I think will be saying, well, why does he want the stage points? He's 74 behind me in the current standings, but every single point could help at this stage in the season if he really wants the late charge, because we are already halfway through. If he can lose 74 points in the first 4 races, he can gain them again in the last 4. That's what he'll be thinking as we're going to hit 3 to go when we get to the line.
Absolutely, this is getting tight. Löwen is pushing hard, and let's see if he's going to be able to. Arutzen is the short track king though. He won Phoenix, as everyone sort of predicted, but here at Iowa he's trying once again. The 6 is having such a good run here at the front of this field. Is he going to be able to get past though? We're on lap 38, coming on to 2 laps to go in the stage. It looks like Gunnarsson's not going to be able to challenge him. It's going to be a 2-way fight at the front, but not quite enough. 25 minutes to go and 2 laps until stage points. Yeah,
and so this may be taking a little bit longer into the 50 minutes than people were expecting, but it's hopefully going to be a sign of things to come, this long green flag run to the stage. Arutzen hitting 1 to go in the stage with continuing pressure from Löwen, who's just losing the rear end there through 4. Tyres probably getting a bit hot, and Brostrom's going to lose an extra point on this last lap by the looks of it as well.
Yeah, this is lap 40. End of this, we'll have the stage. It's a big fight for 4th position. Helmbro's up the inside. Brostrom on the outside. He's got the run off too, but Helmbro dives it to the inside of 3 and 4. And as we come off the final corner, it's going to be Arutzen getting the stage win. Löwen 2nd place. And then Gunnarsson, who is it going to be for 4th? It looks like it's just by a bumper going to be Linus Brostrom, who gets that in 4th position. Peter Helmbro still gaining 13 places and getting himself 6 stage points there. That is going to be very crucial for him. We round it out with Ericsson, Hagman, Holmer, Fagerberg and Uvenen, your top 10 as the stage caution comes out.
Yeah, so the gap between the top 2 in the championship doubles. Arutzen now 6 points in front of Brostrom, 14 in front of Ericsson, 20 ahead of Bohlin. And Tony Uvenen did sneak into the stage points there, but he now drops 28 points behind at this stage in the season. Then you've got Helmbro who will be 38 behind, and then it gets a bit more distant from back there. But Eracingligan winning this stage has absolutely done what he should do really at this stage, and i.e. beating all of his championship rivals. And if he can do that twice tonight at a circuit he should be good at, then he could be well on his way with only 2 races to go after tonight at Pocono and Vegas.
And as we come to the stage, I assume there might be some pit stoppers here. They only have 1 extra set of tyres. Oh, not everyone. The top 3 stay out. Well, I guess Bohlin from 4th place, plus the top 2 stay out. And then a few extra drivers did. So it's going to be 50-50 actually, looking at it. Some drivers coming in, some drivers not. And I guess it makes sense to come in now as we are 22 minutes left. But we're going to get more cautions later on. So, and because we had so many cautions already, these tyres are going to be absolutely fine, really, for the drivers who are out at the front. So this is going to be an interesting tyre battle now. Are they just going to stay out to the end? Just hold on to the cautions and hope that they don't get overtaken? I don't know.
Yeah, it's not impossible at all. I would worry a little bit about their fuel load as well. I know, again, that we've had a lot of caution laps, which will save them a bit. But even so, I would worry a little bit about that. It's 4 tyres, seems to be taken pretty much all round. Dan Holmer seems to be doing something a little bit different. But my problem with this strategy of staying out is, they could get eaten up with these older tyres. I think that especially those rear tyres late on in the stint are going to be really suffering in about 20 minutes' time for the likes of Eracingligan and Loven and Bohlin and the others who have stayed out here. But also, if they do come in later, the difference between their tyres and the others' tyres who have just changed onto those now is just going to be negligible, really. So there's not much point. And that, I think, is going to be a problem for these guys when they come in or when they don't come in. I think either of them is going to be a problem. I've got to be honest, I would have been in there because, as I say, the stage coming over halfway into this race is quite unusual, but for me that means the final stage of the race, if you like, is very, very short, and there's very little time to make up for time lost, or indeed for other people to wear their tyres out before you come in for yours. So I think that's could be an error for these guys who have now found themselves at the front.
It's interesting for both Eracingligan and Bohlin to do the same as well, not split that strategy. So in the end, I said about 50-50. There's obviously some lap cars in there because there's actually only 6 on the road. So it's Eracingligan down to Hock and Schott, the top 6. They're the only ones who didn't stop there. Everyone else in behind came in. And that leaves only those front 3 rows on those older tyres. But there's 20 minutes to go. We've only done 45 laps already, and a lot of them have been under caution. So they've probably only done about 20 maximum push laps. So I don't know. They might be okay, but is it enough to hold on for just 3 rows? If it was, half the field that stayed out, there'd be a lot of cars behind them that would have to be overtaken. But now it's just 3 rows. I can easily see, so it's Erling, Holmer, Gunnarsson, Helmbro. They're the front 4 cars on new tyres. I can easily see those guys coming past with 20 minutes still remaining. Strategy games at play here, the Bohlin's doubleheader, round 5 of the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's Oval Series, season number 8. Eracingligan leads the championship, and he's led every single lap here tonight so far in a caution-heavy race at Iowa. This is the stage caution, though, as we go back to green flag racing. Top 6 on older tyres, everyone in behind on new. Let's see what the difference is going to be. It's a terrible start from Fagerberg. Hock and Schott got really held up there. He's going to lose a lot of momentum in towards turn 1 and 2 for this time of asking. And now Leuven is continuing on to be aggressive at the front.
Oh, and 3 wide in the background as well with those new tyre runners as Loven goes for the lead on the outside line. Just going up to the high side of that sort of a darker tarmac on the inside, but he can't get it done on the outside line there. Tony Uvinen up to 4th. Look at that, 4 wide in the background meantime as those guys on new tyres try and come through, but they're still not breaking the top 6.
Well, that was a moment in towards turn 1. Hopefully we don't see too much more of that because these guys have been super aggressive tonight. That's why I've seen the level of cautions that we have. Fagerberg in the 31, the inside line, holding up Gunnarsson. He's a lot slower. Gunnarsson gets the run off 3 and 4. We're also going to see Robert Eriksson dive through on his newer tyres as well. So Fagerberg is being eaten up here. This is a sign of what's to come, I think, for the top drivers if they can't or haven't kept those rear tyres in check, as the race will just continue on very fast pace now. Hopefully everyone's settled down. We get into a green flag stint.
Yeah, and finally, as it starts to thin out, some of these guys on newer tyres can start to make use of them. But this is the advantage you were talking about for these older tyre runners. Even though it was only 3 rows, you've got to remember at this circuit that makes it very difficult. Helmbro now only just going down the inside of Broström now, but this tyre difference is pronounced. I think these front guys are going to start to realise very quickly that they've made a mistake here, and there's not very much time left in this race for them to rectify it.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Linus Broström is getting eaten up. The thing is, they can't come in until another caution. If it's state green flag, they basically just have to stay out unless they're going to run out of fuel. Gunnarsson is getting a run up the inside. This is going to be for third place. It's just the top 2 now who are leading. But to be honest, it's going to be only the top 1. Aracingligan, as Gunnarsson dives up the inside, this is going to be second place. I think Gunnarsson is in prime position to win this race because Aracingligan is only just up the way. He is trying really hard to get past. Helmbro's doing everything he can, but look how slow Aracingligan is. Off 3 and 4. He just has no drive compared to these drivers. Peter Helmbro, of course, is another driver on the fresher tyres, and look at this. Either side of him, down the back straight away. Gunnarsson's going to have to back out of that one. Helmbro goes to the lead on the outside. Yeah, Robert Eriksson's going around the outside as well. He's on new tyres here, don't forget. What a drive from Robert Eriksson. And Gunnarsson stuck behind Aracingligan badly here. Now he's going to get through on the inside into third position. But Helmbro took advantage very well there. And Robert Eriksson especially arriving on the scene late to take them both. Now Gunnarsson's got some work to do because I agree, I think he probably is the faster driver. But he's got to make these passes on drivers who are on the same strategy as his. If we go quite long and get a caution, those 6 drivers can then take the fresher tyres, and we can see how crucial it's going to be. Oh, contact on the front straight. The 33 and 35 get together. Rob Eriksson gets it back in line, and we should be okay, but caution comes out. And is this a time for those drivers to then take the tyres, or is it just a little bit too late? Because they're going to go to the back of the pack. Everyone else will be going to the end. Yeah, exactly. There's only a few of them, and they'd end up, at best, they would end up 15th, I think, 16th. So I think that is a very, very long way back for those guys. And of course, less than 10 laps of green flag running on those tyres compared to the multiple laps that those other guys had. I mean, it's a little bit... Well, does Eriksson come down on Gunnarsson, to be fair? It's hard to tell, really, because it's a curving front straight, of course, which makes everybody's lines a little bit different anyway. Yeah, I would say... yeah, that was Eriksson coming down just a few inches compared to if you look at where the tram tracks are. Gunnarsson was sort of following his lane, and it looks like it was just... But they were so close to the wall, and every tiny degree of steering angle makes a big, big difference as the pace track comes out once again as we get to about 15 laps to go. I think, Ewan, the crucial part you said is there's only 10 laps different on the stint. So even if they did pit, they're not going to have the advantage to come back. Whereas... the guys at the moment, they've got about a 40 lap difference. Okay, fair enough, there's a lot of cautions in there, but at least 20 odd laps of green flag racing, so there at least is a bit of a difference. I think they just got to stay out and hold on to this now. We are seeing a couple of drivers come down, so actually Broström has backed out of it. Leuven is coming in as well, Hocken shot, so it's just Aracingligan who stays out. Aracingligan's the only one at the front there who's just continuing on with his gamble. Yeah, but I think he's done the right thing here because, as you say, either this race goes green for the last sort of 13 minutes or however long it's going to be when we go back green, and therefore he can probably hold on to some semblance of a good position here, certainly a top 10, I would say, as it starts to even out the 2 tyre sets. But the other scenario is there's another late caution, really late, and so these guys who have obviously stopped under the stage caution really take the edge off their tyres. He can come in and do to them what they've just done to him. Now, that's going to be more difficult for him because he would come out in 21st, having to make 20 places in less than 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes or whatever long it would be. And of course, a late caution would completely screw him. However, the option's there for him. I think probably now he's made his bed. He's probably got to lie in it now and hope that he holds on to a top 10, and I think he probably will. Yes, because if he stays out, he's probably going to finish around P10. Whereas if he stays out and then there's a caution, he goes back to P21, and then he gets up to 10th place with the overtakes. So that's probably same. So he might as well then stay out and just see what happens, because if there's loads of cautions, he's not going to go backwards very quickly. And there's less life being put into those tyres. So I think this is the call. As you say, he just needs to stay there. The issue is he's already down into 3rd place, and there's no way, absolutely no way, he's going to be able to re-overtake anyone who gets in front of him. So this is a crucial point of the race for him in terms of how many cautions we are going to see to the end. But to be honest with you, and I wasn't expecting this many cautions or this sort of strategy actually that's come into it, because it looked like it was going to be a little bit, you know, if it goes green, it looks like it's going to be a little bit simple. But maybe there is some variance out there.
Yeah, I think it was a big mistake. I said it at the time, I think it was a big mistake not to come in under the stage because of the cautions that we got in that first part of the race. You could see immediately how this is, or I could picture how this was going to turn out immediately here. You know, you can't underestimate, even though there's been a lot of cautions, you can't underestimate the heat cycles that those tyres have gone through and the edge off those tyres that have been taken off there from the likes of Eracingligan and the others who stayed out. And it seems they completely overlooked that really when they were thinking about coming into the pit lane there. Since we were over halfway in the race, I just didn't see it working out, to be honest. This is damage limitation now for Eracingligan. He has got to try and hold on to a decent position here and keep as many championship rivals behind him as possible.
12.5 minutes go in the first race here at the Bohlin's doubleheader at Iowa Speedway. Helmbro gets us underway. Oh, there's contact. Gunnarsson's been put into the wall. Oh! This is going to be a huge chain reaction in the background. Linus. Surely we are going to see the caution come back out. And as you say, if Linus Broström got involved in that one, that could be big for the championship after him deciding to pit. He should have stayed out in hindsight with his teammate Eracingligan, but we are seeing as well there a penalty for Dan Holmer. We see the meatball for Forsberg. This is going to be a lot to unpick. Yeah, so Gunnarsson, I think, just loses it on his own. He hits the wall in an awkward angle. He just slides onto the circuit, and Linus Broström wasn't the first to hit him, but he was caught up in it. The 19 car was the first to make heavy contact with him. That was Frederick Eck. Oh, look at that. Broström with nowhere to go. Again, as you say, this is the danger as well of that late pit stop. And it's put them back in the pack. Every single one of those who came in under the previous caution was at the very least delayed, if not damaged, in that caution. This race has been quite something. Caution comes out again. And to be honest, if this race was the normal like 1 hour 40 or so that we have timed it would break the record for cautions, because at almost every moment possible there's been the pace truck out on the track. When we go back through the stream and flick through afterwards, you're just going to be looking at the pace truck going around. It's going to probably have the most laps led all evening. That is absolutely incredible to see as we get inside 11 minutes to go. Helmbro is leading now from Dan Holmer, though it did look like for a moment that it came up with a penalty there, so I wonder if that is going to be something he's going to have to serve. Yeah, I don't know what it was for either. It seems to have disappeared. Dan Holmer's penalty now. Alexander Arason has decided to make his pit stop now, so I'm really not sure what he's doing there because he's just seen what the dangers are of stopping all the way at the back. To be fair, he's only 9th. Or he's going to drop further back than that, actually. Probably to 16th or so, which is a lot worse. But yes, less than 10 minutes to go. Likely there's going to be many more cautions, at least one more caution before the finish. Yeah, that's some puzzling strategy calls, but you know the advantage of doing the double header at 2 of the same distances is that effectively this race can be used to learn for the next one, and you know there's going to be less strategical errors, I think, in the next race because of that. Absolutely, and one thing I don't know if we just mentioned, Arason did come down pit lane and he backed out of it, which is, that's a weird call because that's like in the middle. You kind of do, you don't. I don't know. He's going to be in 16th place on fresher tyres, I guess, but are we going to have enough green flags for him to work his way up, or is he going to get caught out like his teammate Linus Broström there? That is a difficult one. It looks like Broström's also stayed out. He's surely got heavy damage, but he stayed out. He isn't wanting to go to the back of the line because he knows even with the damage, if we get this amount of cautions, he might as well just keep his track position. Yeah, and again, the more frequency with which there is cautions here, the easier it is to hold on to track position as well. So yeah, very puzzling that Arason decided to do that. Some more double file restarts here as well. With about 8 minutes to go, it will be when we get back green. So, as you say, race control probably decided that this stage in the race they might as well be let off double file because single file is just as deadly. Although, I do wonder what they're going to do in the early restarts of the second race, whether
they might do some of those single file.
Absolutely. As we saw some drivers still just trying to get themselves in line there. I think I can see Linus Broström on the outside. His front end is absolutely smashed. So he's going to be slow. Even if we do get a long green flag run, he's going to be struggling to regain those positions after that contact. Jesper Ericsson's worked his way up into sort of 7th, 8th place there on that 4th line. And to be honest, he might have half an opportunity to get half-decent points. We thought earlier he was going to be losing points to Broström, but actually he might be gaining. Let's get back to racing. 8 minutes to go. What a start there from Helmbro. He's got his teammate Marcus Hogman pushing. So MHE Racing 1-2 in the race. That is great to see. Some different names up towards the front. Dan Holmer comes along in 3rd place. We're seeing a big battle. Skoglund, he's regained positions from where he was earlier after that spin, and he's got going once more. Robert Eriksson on that inside line, holding on from Jesper.
On the outside for Eriksson there. Jesper Eriksson on Robert Eriksson. Oh, and trying to look to the outside of Skoglund as well, but he's not going to find that very easy at all as they come into 1 and 2 again. His teammate Holmer looks to the inside of Hogman. This is a proper battle for the race lead at the moment that Helmbro is trying to sort of keep going, because that would allow him to get away with the race lead just a little bit further.
All contact in the background. Eriksson had a bad run through turns 3 and 4. He's gone out wide, up towards the wall. Drivers going down. Got Eriksson and Skoglund go through. We're seeing, I think it's Lars Bulkard and Gantz trying to come through now as well. 7 minutes remain in the race, and everyone is pushing hard to try and get these final few positions. The laps are going quickly. Further contact in the background as Eriksson got around for another time of asking. It looks like, huge contact into turns 3 and 4. Gantz is involved. We're seeing a few other drivers. Is that... Oh, no way. Is that going to be Linus Broström again? I think it might be in the 71.
It looked a bit like him. Oh, it is. Oh, Linus Broström again. And that is going to be massive for this championship. Eriksson is going to be the one to try and gain on Alexander Haraldsson, but he's not going to be gaining very many points because the 24 car is into the top 10. This has turned out to be a disastrous race for Broström. The only solace being he'll get to start from the front 3 rows in race 2. How Eriksson saved that's unbelievable, but Gantz is out of control at this stage. And for the 2nd time tonight, Linus Broström is taken out in an incident that wasn't his fault for the 2nd time in the last 10 minutes.
Wow. He has not had the luck that he would have wanted. This is, not turning into the race that he needed, to be honest, at all. He needed to have just a calm race, with Jesper Eriksson having some issues in that opening portion, but it doesn't look like it's going to be like that, unfortunately. And wow, what a turning point in the championship this could be. Aronsson's made bad decisions today. Eriksson's been involved in a couple of incidents. Broström has been involved in a couple of incidents. And that is why we have these double headers at short tracks just to spice up the season a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a tradition, but this is unusual, it has to be said. I wonder whether it's got something to do with the next-gen cars compared to the Xfinity cars, which are a little bit more difficult on short tracks, maybe discounting places like Phoenix and Richmond as well, circuits like that. But the proper short tracks, and remember Martinsville's very tricky in these cars, although we're not going to that on that circuit on this schedule. This is one of those also quite slow speed short tracks, if you like. And that is going to mean we get, lots of cautions because of that. Although you could say that some of these accidents could have happened in any car. Certainly that last one there, because of the way it works. Very unusual. You see that on an oval, though, the way Christian Gantz spun to the inside like that and just swept and took away a couple of the drivers who were up on the outside there. Very unusual, has to be said, and pretty unlucky as well for those involved. Linus Broström will finish this race likely in 19th position, maybe even worse, but as I say, he will start from the front 3 rows of the 2nd race.
This has been certainly not the entertainment I was expecting, but entertainment nonetheless here at IO. And remember, we still have another 2nd race coming. We got the reverse grid top 25 will be reversed, but there's only 26 drivers. One driver will miss out. Looks like it's going to be Joel Wallen, because he he's still in pit lane. He has been for 29 minutes, and he is some 27 laps behind, so he doesn't even have enough time to make up those laps, even if he got back out onto the track. Less than 4 minutes remain. It looks like we are going to get a short little sprint to the end. Will there be any final big moments, or you and I are going to get another caution, and therefore we'll probably finish under the next caution?
Sadly, I'm going to say that I think we are going to finish under a caution, unfortunately, in the next few moments. You say this is our last chance now, if you like, with 3.5 minutes to go. And given the race that we've seen so far, given how hard they want to race for this at the moment, I think we are going to see another caution. And that's only going to help Peter Helmbro at the front of the field. A distant 6th at the moment in the championship, 34 points behind Aracingligan, but this would go away to just closing that gap just a little bit. In fact, he's 38, of course, after the stage, but he could get this to below 30 if the results hold to the end in these last 3 minutes.
Yes, this is going to be exciting if we stay green flag to the end. 3 minutes remain, or a bit less than that by the time we get back, 2.5 by the time we get back to the green flag. Let's see what this one is going to. MHE Racing, they've got the front row. Helmbro on the inside, Hagman on the outside. Oh, what a start that is from Peter Helmbro. He pulls away. Dan Holmer, terrible start in the background for Robert Eriksson. That's going to slow up a lot of people as they try and fight for the final few positions towards the front here. And it looks like it's pretty decent from the top 5, but all the action is always in behind.
Jesper Eriksson chasing Alexander Aracingligan up the road there, and Oscar Fredriksson's now in on it as well as he tries to shovel the 24 car backwards and gain Eriksson some of those points back again that he lost at the stage. He's gone! The 37's gone! Jesper Eriksson spins in front of the field, and Peter Helmbro's going to win the first race in the doubleheader.
Surely that is going to be race over. The caution will be longer than 2 minutes, and Peter Helmbro from way back in the grid. Let's see how it happened though. The 37 is looking fairly solid. He's going to come up to mid-track. He's still good. He's still good. He goes a little bit wide though. He's going to come down, make contact with Aracingligan. So the two championship rivals, first and third, he makes contact with Shu as he comes down, but first and third in the championship make contact, and that is going to be a big talking point. Where is Linus Broström? Oh, he's still down pit road, so none of the drivers up there in the championship are going to be getting any sort of good points here today, and it's opened the door for the likes of MHE Racing to get the victory. Looks like it might even be a 1-2.
Yep. It will be, and it will get Helmbro a good deal closer in this championship. As I mentioned, it is going to be, I think, 26 points that he's behind Aracingligan. That's very mental maths there. I'm no idea if that's true or not.
Never trust maths.
Yeah, exactly. 28 points, I think, something like that. But he certainly will move towards the top 5 with Oliver Bohlin not here. That's obvious. But Tony Uvenen as well, who's behind Alexander Aracingligan. He will lose out on some more points. Oh, will he? No, he's in 6th place, sorry. He will gain a few points and get a little bit closer, but he lost quite a lot of the stage anyway, did Uvenen. And as you say, Broström is still all the way down in 19th, so loses another 10 points to Alexander Aracingligan. So the gap now between those two is 16 after this first race of the double. But, of course, as I say, Linus Broström will start 10 positions ahead of Aracingligan in race 2.
Yeah, this is quite something. I mean, the difference between... so Helmbro's 6th in championship, but he's only 34 points off Aracingligan. So he's going to be gaining, you know, a good chunk. It's really going to be a tough second half of this season, because now starts the second half of the season. After tonight, we're only going to have a quarter left of the season. It's going to wrap up pretty quickly. And what an evening it's going to be. Time comes to an end here at Iowa, as we are going to see Peter Helmbro taking victory under the pace truck, which was the talk of the town. Pace truck leading the most laps tonight, but it's going to be MHE Racing getting a 1-2, with Helmbro taking the win from Marcus Hagman, and Holmer will be on the podium here for round 5 of the bonus Svenska Eracingligan's season number 8. And that was not the race that we were necessarily expecting, but hopefully all the drivers can calm down a little bit when we get to race number 2. The top 5 now are going to be reversed, and then we will get there. But it actually looks like we are going to be getting one final lap to have a bit of a procession around, but I'm sure Peter Helmbro will be looking forward to take victory. He's had pole positions, he's had a victory on the road course as well, but in terms of the oval stuff, it has been a bit more of a tricky time for him. And going to MHE Racing, Marcus Hagman, who was so strong last season, especially in the stages, getting into the playoffs, and his team are stepping their way forward. Following the pace truck through round 5 of the season, will finally go to the MHE Racing duo of Helmbro and Hagwins. They come across the line in formation there. The 77 takes victory, and that was quite something. We're seeing some big points lost in the standings. We're seeing Jesper Eriksson down in 18th place. Linus Broström is going to be 20th. Aronson down in 9th place. So that is certainly a big switch up in the championship after a very hectic round 5 of the season. As we will go into a short break in a moment's time, we'll get you the results, and then we will go to see what is going to happen in race number 2. The 25 position reverse is going to be all over the place. I'm sure we will see the caution come out once more, because that's seemingly what the sort of the vibe of the drivers is today. Here's the results after 74 laps behind the pace truck. Helmbro is going to be taking victory with Marcus Hogman in 2nd place. Holmer will round out the podium with Skoglund, Bulka, Uven, Eriksson, Fredriksson, Aronson and Kenneth Tier, your final drivers inside the top 10. It is then Loven, Broström, Hockenschott and Jonas Gunnarsson who gets the fastest lap on lap number 12 as well. It's Kjellberg, Gantz, Erling, Eriksson and Broström down in 18th and 19th as well. And then, of course, we're going to see Oscar Motin, and then we're seeing Forsland, Fagerberg, Schu, Forsberg, and Joel Wallen at the back of the field. But while the drivers get ready for race number 2, we'll take some messages from our partners. Welcome back to Iowa, where we have just had the first race of the Bohlin's doubleheader here for rounds 5 and 6 of the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's Oval Series. It's myself, Cam Roger, Yona Leary alongside me, and Hugo Louise on the production of this RaceSpotTV broadcast. As this sun is starting to set, the track is cooling down, and maybe the drivers will a little bit as well. That race 1 was unbelievably chaotic. The pace truck was out for most of the race, barely getting more than a couple of laps into each stint before an accident happened. Just showing you how difficult and how tight this 7/8 of a mile circuit is. And Ewan, I know we were expecting cautions. That was a little bit too much. Now we're going to invert 25. I mean, this is just going to throw it up in the air even more.
Well, yeah, it will in that sense, but as you say, I think they might calm down a little bit because of that first race and what we saw. The reason why I don't think it did calm down towards the end of the race there is because generally things do ramp up towards the finish always anyway, so I wasn't particularly surprised about that, but I would be surprised to see so many cautions this time round. And you remember a similar thing happened last year as well when we had 2 races here. The first race had a lot more cautions than the second one, despite the fact the second race was nearly 30 laps longer, or maybe more than 30 laps longer. So I would expect a different race here tonight, and it's very unusual that the stage comes over halfway into a race, such as how much these guys were planning for a very caution-filled race. I mean, Linus probably wasn't expecting it to only have 74 laps, hence why the stage was placed at 40, which I say is unusual for this series.
So we're just talking about them calming down. Joel Bohlin almost misses pit lane, and I think it was Broster in the background comes in sideways. You and I think we're in for an absolute treat here in this second race of the evening. Can't wait to see who is going to come out on top. As I say, it's the inverted 25. Joel Bohlin will be the final driver not to be inverted, as there's 26 cars out there. Obviously, that format was made assuming there'll be a few more drivers, but 26 here today. And let's see if that's going to really change anything, because you and I was thinking, normally in an inverted race, you have all the fast drivers to the front, naturally, and then they invert, they go to the back, and they have to work their way through. But everything is so jumbled up here in the order, to be honest, I'm expecting it to be more of the same. We've got some of the fast drivers down the back, Eracingligan, Broster, etc. Now they're going to jump to the front, and it's not really going to change too much. Let's see what the grid is going to be, though. So it's Forsberg from Jokershu on the front row, Fagerberg, Forsland on the second, with Motin and Fredrik Ek on the third row. Linus Broström and his championship rival Jesper Eriksson will start on the fourth row, with Robert Erling, Christian Gantz rounding out the top 10. Kjellberg and Gunnarsson are inside the front 6 rows. Schott and Broström will start alongside each other, with Löwen, Keniftier, Arvidsson and Fredriksson from the top 18. Eriksson, Uvinen, Balker Skogland, Holmer and Hagman will round out the top 24. And then your winner from the final, or the previous race I should say, Helmbro, with Joel Bohlin alongside him at the back of the grid. They line up in pit lane like they did an hour or so ago, but this time, Ewan, we go into the darkness as the sun is setting. Here is round 6 of the season. Double points evening as well. So the same amount of points for any normal race are coming for these shorter races. It's a lot up for grabs tonight.
Yeah, if you look at points per kilometre, this night has got it off the scale as far as what you can achieve tonight. And so far, it has been about what Alexander Arvidsson has been able to achieve over the rest. He beat everybody else at the stage, extended his lead that way, and now he's 17 points in front of Linus Broström at the end here tonight, at this stage of the night. 23 points in front of Jesper Eriksson as well. The only driver of note really who gained points on him there was Peter Helmbro by winning that race there tonight. So yeah, very interesting. And these lower track conditions, lower track temperatures, with us going into the night, I think should help a little bit. It's only going to dip from here as well because the sun's probably going down here. So it should help. These tyres get very, very warm, especially on the rear when you're trying to get the power down. So hopefully the night time helps them out a little bit.
One of the biggest issues we saw was drivers coming off T4, spinning up the rears and then sliding down in front of someone. We saw that multiple times in race 1, caused many of the cautions. Then the other place was really turn 3, people diving in down the inside of turn 3. So hopefully those two pieces of the track, the drivers can work on and will get some longer green flag runs. Once again, stage will be at lap 40. And hopefully we'll get a lot of green flag racing before then. They only have one set of tyres to take. So are you going to do it at the stage, or are you going to do it at a different caution like we saw a few drivers try in the previous race? It's going to be Dante Forsberg in the 357 machine at the front. Going to be Jokershu in the 34 on his outside, and they're going to be taking the field to the green. Fagerberg, Forsland, the cars in behind, then Motin, then Ek. Your top 3 rows, we're seeing your championship rivals of Broström and Eriksson just in behind. Pace truck comes in, and we're going to go green flag racing once again for race 6 for the Svenska Eracingligan's Oval Series season number 8. And it's a solid start, 2 by 2 we go in towards the first couple of corners. Fredrik Ek towards the front in P6 where he started, but let's see how he goes down the back straight.
Yeah, it's just about survival here on this opening lap. We saw what happened on lap number 1 of the previous race. Let's hope that everybody has survival in mind as they come off of 3 and 4 for the first time. Oh, we've got a spinner already. We've got a spinner already. And it's been saved, thankfully. Is it? It's Matthias Kjellberg who's gone to the inside. And we've got trouble through turn 1, just a corner later than what we had previously.
Barely past the first lap of green flag action. Caution comes out once more. It's so difficult to start the run. Once you get into it, get a few laps, people spread out, it's a lot easier, but drivers finding their way. Let's see how this one happened. Oh, big send down the inside. There's Jesper Eriksson, who cuts across in the middle. I'm trying to see, that's one of his teammates, actually, isn't it? That is not an ideal driver to take out. As wow, I think there's a big secondary contact. So it's Jesper Eriksson. Here he is in the 37. He goes to the inside and he just squeezes down on a teammate.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to work out, is that Oscar Motin?
Shot.
Maybe?
No, second shot.
Oh, shot. Okay.
Yeah. It just drove down there like he wasn't there. I mean, very strange. He's trying to do a bit of slicing and dicing there towards turn one. You can see why he wanted to get through the pack there. He's starting at the back, of course, as one of the top drivers, and is unfortunately gone 5 steps backwards so far, and is already got Alexander Eriksson right behind him. So Eriksson's down 5, Eriksson's up 3, and they're together already.
That is, yes, that is pretty crazy how these things can swap around so fast. I'm not surprised by the fact that we only got a couple of laps there, or not even lap in the corner at the start there. But do you think there's a way in which you can try and get the drivers to cool down a little bit? I thought we'd have a little break, go again into race 2, but it seems like it's much of the same.
Yeah, it does. And I was remaining hopeful as well, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. And again, with the stage caution coming out, it's just going to restack everything and set it all off again, even if it does get to a nice run at any stage, like what we saw in race number 1. So there's another drawback that I keep thinking of. Yeah, it's going to remain like this towards the end now. And again, this advantages those at the front already, the likes of Dante Forsberg and Erik Fagerberg, because the more cautions there are, the more likely they are to keep their positions, because you can't overtake under the yellows.
Certainly cannot, and the pace truck should get the bonus points, I think, for leading the most laps tonight, as I think already, even if someone basically goes to the end of this race, probably won't be able to take on the amount of laps that the pace truck has been out here tonight. Certainly getting a lot of show, and let's sort of have a look towards the front, because the drivers at the front here, Ewan, they're not necessarily up there in the standings. I mean, Dante Forsberg is down there in 19th position. Fagerberg is in 30th position in the standings. Forsland, I know he missed a race as well, which certainly didn't help. But he's way lower down in the standings than you would expect. He obviously won the IndyCar Series, but he's 32nd in the championship. He's actually missed 2 races, I should say, so far. There's a lot of drivers. Jokashu 28th. This is a good opportunity for these drivers to get some points.
Yeah, it is. And as I mentioned earlier, the points per kilometre return you get tonight is massively advantageous compared to all of the others. And especially if you're sort of a more of a short track racer, then tonight is your last chance after Phoenix 2 weeks ago as well. Pocono and Vegas are certainly less to your liking if you're one of those drivers. So, yeah, it's going to feel like the last chance for some, and maybe that is pushing on a bit more of these cautions than what we've seen traditionally in the past in this series. Some very long green flag runs. Having said that, again, the second race at Iowa still had 3 cautions over the course of over 100 laps. We could get over 100 laps here if indeed we only stick to 3 cautions here ourselves. So all is not lost yet anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, under green flag running, yeah, I mean, we may even be able to get to just shy of 3 laps per minute. So if we get going, I mean, that's going to be 120 odd laps that we're going to be able to get. But let's see how long we go green for. Dante Forsberg, the 357, will get us underway once again. Race 6 of the season, the Bohlin's doubleheader. Fagerberg doesn't have the best start, so he'll be forcing on that inside for Sim Race Sweden with the red number, trying to work his way through. But actually, on the outside of turn 2, Fagerberg's had a great run. He might be able to take the lead here. Fagerberg has gone nowhere. And in the background, we've already seen a spinner, but it looks like he's going to remain green flag for now. We'll have to work out how that happened.
Yeah, Frederick Eckert was on the inside line of a 3-wide moment, just side-to-side contact and spins to the inside. But if he spun around the whole way, then it would have been below the apron. And so we stay green. Very nearly a stack up on the inside there. As on the outside, Linus Prostam's making moves. Jokshu's down past him now. And Dante Forsberg has been dispatched as well. So Linus Prostam already up to 3rd.
Jesper Eriksson making a move, a big move around the outside, trying to make it stick. It didn't happen though, as we're two rows of three, I should say, coming in towards turn number 1. As the drivers are really, we're 4 wide now on the exit of turn number 2. That is not what you want. Drivers have big wiggles here. Jonas Gunnarsson is stuck there as Forsberg is going backwards. Your pole position driver, he's so slow on this restart, has not got up to speed.
4 wide is never going to work. Oh, they have made it work. Gunnarsson through the middle there. I thought Shaw was going to go around, but no, he gets away with it in the end, and I'm not really sure how. Dante Forsberg had to lift out of it in the end, I think, to just avoid that. And Jesper Eriksson's being aggressive again. Dare I say overly aggressive as well. Very nearly spun himself on the front of Christian Loven there as he was trying to pass Christian Gantz.
Yeah, I think maybe some penalties coming away from some of these drivers, but for now they're just going to be pushing as much as they can. It'll be, position times, etc. License points that they'll be losing after this race. Very busy evening for the stewards, I'm sure, the amount of cautions that we've had. Some drivers like Forsberg are just going backwards, but Eriksson, I'd say, is making some moves. 3 wide, big send to the inside there from Gantz. He's got, oh my word, he's so closely with Gunnarsson on his outside. And then we've also got a third driver to his outside. This is really a difficult situation. Sorry, it's Gantz on the outside. Loven is the one making the sense to the inside. Oh, that's tight once more at the inside of Jokashu.
Goodness me, Gunnarsson just about getting through here. Jokashu is really struggling out there at the moment, being overtaken by everybody. And he won't be the only one who started at the front who's feeling the same at the moment. I think Forsberg will be feeling something similar. Off of 4, that was really close. Zeus coming back as Christian Loven just gets stacked up with those slowing up in front of him. Loven right round the outside, trying to use that higher line. He's going to make it work, and Gantz is looking on the outside. He's not quite got an overlap though. This is good racing at the start of this this run, and some of the big names working their way through. Here comes Eriksson looking for a top 10 place.
It's just so fast, isn't it, that you don't really have to slow down for these corners. Oh, up ahead, someone, Oscar Moten, has gone into the wall, and that's going to let Loven go down his inside as Eriksson is making his way up as well. This is all change. Every single corner, drivers are fighting for position, and you just, because you don't have to brake so much for these corners, it's just so high and intense. If you have to brake and accelerate out of every corner, it's certainly spread out the field much more, but we are keeping very close. Fagerberg, after not having a great initial start, has got the lead, and he is also holding himself on his own up towards the front. Forsen, Broser, Eriksson, your top 4, Gunnarsson as well. So the cream is rising to the top in this second race.
Yeah, it certainly is, and look at that, that's annoying, isn't it? On the way towards turn 3, just that wrong time in the race now where it's in your eyes as you're trying to spot your turning point for turn 3 there. On board with Robert Eriksson, good vision of that on the way towards there, but they should get used to that, and it should dip below the horizon very, very shortly as Christian Loven looks to the inside of Oscar Fredriksson, who runs right around the outside. Loven there just couldn't quite stay as low as he needed to, and now he's exposed to Alexander Eriksson for 7th.
This is such intense action. What a bowl of a track we have here at Iowa as Eriksson is pushing and trying to get the run with side by side in the background. Actually, this is Joel Bohlin, who started at the back of the field, remember, in 26th place. He's already worked his way up into 13th. Ahead is Gantz, and Gantz on the outside. We've got Robert Eriksson on the inside. These guys are batting inside the top 5 earlier and trying to find their way a little bit further up the order, but for now it's Gantz who comes out on top.
Close in the background as well, and you see the way these guys are getting into a rhythm with this now. It's much much easier when you are sort of in a rhythm. Tyres are warm but not too warm because of the conditions. Everybody's more around drivers that they are more comfortable with and more similar on speed with, because that initial shock of the reverse grid is starting to go away a little bit. Yeah, it's feeling a lot more like a proper race now. As that's Joel Bohlin coming through, by the way. I thought he wouldn't start, actually, because he retired very early from race 1. But actually, despite starting 26th, he's already over halfway through the field.
This is absolutely amazing how quickly these races change around. We've had just 10 minutes of this race so far. Fagberg's leading by over a second. He's pulling away at the front. Wow. Caution comes out. The second I say that, caution comes out. Incidents in behind. We were just getting going there. Finally opening and stretching our legs. But the pace truck comes out. I'm going to have to find out what that was all about.
Oh, dear. Well, it was silliness, really. And car 82 unfortunately pays the full price. That's Robert Erling, but I'm afraid the way he went straight into the side of somebody on the backstretch there was not clever. Somebody exceptionally slow now as well. Frederick Eck. No, that can't be Eck. It's got to be somebody else. but what are they doing? Oh, that's the leader, is it, of Fagerberg, who's waiting to be overtaken by the pace truck. You've got to be careful with this so he doesn't get a penalty for being in the wrong place for too long.
Yeah, he should be okay. It's just where he was because he was so far ahead compared to where the pace truck was on pit exit. But it looks like that one has been rectified. Yeah, so it's Dan Holmer on the back straight with Robert Erling. A bit of a silly incident once again to bring out the caution. We're lap 20, stage a lap 40. So we're halfway through this stage already, but certainly, yeah, just a bit of a mirror of what we saw in that first race, Ewan.
Well, a little bit. I think there's been a cleaner start overall, though, to this race than what we saw in the first. I hope that now that they've shown what a proper run like this looks like, they can do another one, because that would be about the same distance to the stage break as well. So then we'll have to restart, obviously. But yeah, we're getting through these laps in the first part of the stage a lot quicker, and I'm quite glad about that, because that will set up two different kinds of race now. In the previous race, we only got to the stage break restart after halfway, hoping that we can get to that before halfway this time round and just create a little bit more uncertainty. Because I mentioned in the previous race how everybody would use that first race a bit of learning for the second one. Well, that is only true as long as the situation is the same. If they knock off these last 15 laps in about 7 minutes, which they could do, and restart, if you like, with more than half the race to go, and have that option of pitting with, just nearly half an hour still left, then it might make a few more drivers think a little bit harder about doing the same thing as to what was the prevailing strategy in race one.
Indeed, I think most drivers will still pit for tyres at the stage, though, just naturally, whenever that is. But I'd like to see a few other drivers try something different. But as you say, that all depends on there being a longer run afterwards at the end of the stage, because then it makes sense to wait and have newer tyres. But if it's going to be a shorter run to the end, then obviously you're going to change the tyres and get the freshies to the end of the race. Fagerberg, though, Ewan, I mean, he was looking really good there at the start.
Yeah, looking in control at the moment, not looking too phased by some of the big names surrounding him now. At the front, Bohlin, Broström, Ericsson, Gunnarsson, Aronson, Fredriksson. That's quite a list to have behind you for a driver who hasn't got experience, as much experience in this series as the others in recent times. So he might find this restart a little bit more difficult than what he's found the two previous, but driven very, very well to this point, and has showed decent speed as well while in the lead.
Certainly has, and he's looked calm, and that is what you like to see. 36 minutes remain here, race 6 of the season. The Bohlin's double header, and the 31 of Fagerberg, who led by a second just before the caution, is going to take us to the green flag once more. He's got some big names up behind him though, and as we get to the restart zone, we will get going once again after another pace truck period. It's going to be a good start from Broström actually. He dives down the inside. That's going to be second place already, all the way in towards turn number 1. As come through turn 2, Forslund is going to hold it on the outside line in the 27 machine, get the run down the back straight, try and hold on to this second place. He's got his teammate Ericsson following him behind, and just about force and regain second.
And Fagerberg, having held off Forslund initially, is going to invite Broström to have a go for second, which could allow him to get away even further with the lead. Oh, close to contact again for Aronson, who goes up the hill towards the wall here. And Loven's going to go through. Oh, and he gets clear as well. So Aleksson, in his attempts to make places, has actually lost a few here, and he's down to 8th.
He's being ultra aggressive, trying to make some moves after having a difficult first race, and he's seen his championship rivals of Linus and Jesper go up the order further ahead of him, so he's going to keep his nose up the inside of Leuven, who's one of the more aggressive drivers, so that is a very risky manoeuvre, but he's basically done that as he exits turn number 2. Should be able to pull in front just about, but a 6 is going to hold it on the high line.
Yeah, and it's going to be difficult to see him off as well. Loven's been a tough competitor so far tonight. Very nearly won the stage in the opening race. Close in the background as well between Bohlin and Motin, as that group behind is where the trouble has been so far tonight. It's where that previous caution came from, and they're playing for keeps back there as Fagerberg now finally overtaken by Forsberg at the front. Forslund, sorry.
All the Fs at the front. Yes, it's Edvin Thorsen, the 27, leading the 31 of Elliot Fagerberg. Fagerberg was leading nicely, but now he's got some of the faster drivers in behind him as it all worked out with the caution period. So it's going to be a lot more difficult to pull away this time around as Ericsson around the outside of Broström, on the inside I should say. And now it's Broström on the outside line, trying to make it work. The 31's going to block him in a little bit. This is going to open up the door for Ericsson to dive up the inside. Look how aggressive he's being. He's done this a few times. He's caused a caution from that. He's got to be careful and not to bring out another one.
What is that person doing up in front of them, by the way? Oh, off the wall! Oh, my word! Great avoiding action from everybody in front. That's unbelievable. Frederick Eck, I've no idea what he's doing. He's running around the top there and very nearly caused a plane crash on the front stretch where he somehow get away with it. Thorsen still leads. Fagerberg's not going away, though, and neither is Linus Broström on the outside.
Yeah, he's got to be careful because he's going to let the train pass, but then in another 10 seconds, they're going to catch up to him again. Being a short track is going to be so important for him to get a bit better with those overtaking opportunities. At the front, though, Thorsen leads, Fagerberg on the inside line, Broström on the outside, and Ericsson is just watching, waiting for an opportunity. Don't forget, Gunnarsson is right behind him as well, as Fagerberg is still on that inside line. He's trying to be cut off. Oh, huge contact! Thorsen is put back straight, but that was a big send to the inside from Fagerberg. Thorsen tried to cut him off, but it didn't work. He got contact from behind, and he's actually regained it in 7th.
Wow, unbelievable how Thorsen didn't spin there, and to be fair, Fagerberg has a part to play in that, very much so. But yeah, that was that was a big moment towards turn 3, and somehow we get away with it. Ericsson trying to get down the inside of Gunnarsson here and get clear of him, does so. Through into 3rd place. He's certainly making progress quicker than the likes of Aracingligan and some of the others, but he's just being a lot more aggressive in making these overtakes, which is helping him right now. A lot of aggression on show as they get to 8 to go when they get round next time round. 8 to go in this stage.
And this is allowing Fagerberg to get away a little bit like he did on the initial start of this race number 2 of the evening, race 6 of the season. And Broström Ericsson, Ericsson's into the wall on the XL turn 4. That's going to lose him momentum. Gunnarsson is going to be diving up the inside in the number 33 Alcantec car. As he's going to slide up on the exit of turn 2. He's trying, he's thinking about it, but the 37 is there. Hits the wall again on the XL4 and the XL2 on the exact same lap. He's going to make contact twice.
Yeah, and just a couple of bits of contact on the wall is not going to deter Gunnarsson here. And again, Ericsson touches the wall off for 4. He is still going for this on the outside line. These two have been absolutely at each other through this race so far. Through on the inside, though, Gunnarsson is up to 3rd finally. Ericsson's not going to take that for very long, though. I wouldn't imagine he'll give it another go before this stage finishes. He needs every point he can get over Aracingligan at the moment. 23 behind as it stands because of that previous race. He needs to chop into that as soon as possible with only 3 races left, including this one.
What a season we are having. Polski Logistics, they have 4 drivers, by the way, and they've got 4 wins at the start of the season. Caution comes out for another time of asking, as we are unfortunately seeing yet another caution. That is, Skoglund is involved in that one. He's got a meatball flag after having such a strong run. Let's see him here. He's on the back. I think this is Dan Holmud, 79, just up ahead of him. He's looking good. He's looking good. Coming in towards turn number 1. Oh! Jesus. Was that? Oh, it was Thorsen. That was Thorsen, wasn't it? In the 27? Yes, it was. Had big issues there. Spun up the track and a huge hit from Skoglund behind.
Goodness me. That's a horrific impact through turn 1. See how this actually happened. Helmbro, just edges him out into the wall, and there you go. Spins on his own, really. Gathers it up quite nicely, but sort of has to lock it down so he doesn't spin in front of the whole field. But this is such a big impact. My God. That is heavy, heavy contact. And unfortunately... Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, that's got to be like 150, 160 miles an hour to 0. Basically. What a hit. Good thing we are in the sim. But that car, yeah, no surprise, the meatball, that is going to be toast. What a shame for Thorsen as well. Just have that slight, slight sort of tangle, really, with Helmbro. Like, it wasn't the biggest contact, turned into a big slide, and eventually that's really him out of the race.
Yeah. And that is, as you say, a real shame. Trying to work out what they're going to do here with this stage, by the way, because I think they would be... another problem with stage racing. Just don't like it. The race, I think, in a normal day would be going back Grinnigan at lap 41, which means everybody going side by side, sort of racing to the line, would be ending lap 40, and then would the caution come straight back out again? Well, you'd think not, obviously. So they might just extend this to cover the end of the stage under caution before the restart, because it's very close to the end of the first stage.
I'm trying to read the notes that Linus tells us, because normally he says, for instance, like at the previous race, it was stage at lap 80, and he says if caution happens lap 77 or later, that ends the stage as we run. So I think it's a similar situation there, that this will be that caution, but it's only lap 38 now, so we still have, you know, 2 whole laps after the one that we are on.
Yeah.
So that would be very awkward if it's 1 lap and then we go again.
I think it could be 1 lap, actually, a 1 lap shootout. And again, this is why it's not a great idea to have caution straight afterwards, because then it's just going to interrupt us even further, sadly, in this race, whether we get to the end of the stage with a natural caution or not. But if they go double file, I mean, the front 3 rows are going double file anyway for some reason, but if they go double file again this time round, then we'll get 1 lap to go. If the lights stay on, then we're going to end this stage under caution. It's very, very close as to what the scenario is going to be here. Watch the lights, and it's going to be, yeah, lights off. So 1 lap to decide this, which is a bit silly, but they're the rules.
1 lap to decide, and then back to caution. So to reiterate, stage at lap 40, we're on lap 39. So the next lap, the pace track is going to come in, and it's going to be a 1 lap shootout before we go back under caution once again. Fagerberg versus Broström, Gunnarsson, Ericsson in behind, and then Aronson. So all the top drivers have got to the front after all the issues that they've had. They still managed to get back to the front, and they have the opportunity to get the extra points. So it's top 10 will be getting points. Oscar Moten will having 1 point and going 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10 points for Fagerberg as it stands with just 27 minutes to go in the second race of the evening. Fagerberg has looked so strong already in this race. He's led the couple of green flag stints that we've had, but can he lead 1 more and get the extra 10 points? So he's side by side with Linus as we come to green flag racing. Good start, a little bit of a concertina in the background that opens up from Peter Helmbro, who didn't have the best start, and in towards turn number 1 and 2. This is an opportunity to have a big send, and it's worth risking it for the extra points in such a close championship battle. Broström isn't keeping up with him though in that second position. Gunnarsson and Ericsson battling for 4th and 3rd position in towards turns 3 and 4. It looks like Fagerberg is going to be able to keep it off the final corner as we come out to end the stage. Elliot Fagerberg in the 31 will take the extra 10 points. Broström, and I think it's Gunnarsson just getting 3rd position in behind as a caution will come back out. What a finish that was for Fagerberg to be able to hold on, and also for Aronson. I think he might have just been overtaken by Löwen to the line.
Yeah, it's very, very close between Gunnarsson and Ericsson, and Aronson and Löwen. I actually thought, to my eyes, it looked like Ericsson had beaten him to the line, but it was, I mean, you couldn't tell from the naked eye, I don't think. And it seems under caution they're running that way round, but that's just because that's where they were when the caution was thrown, which is when 10th placed Oscar Moten came over the line a few seconds after those guys came over the line. So it's going to be impossible to know. But either, oh dear, this pace truck comes out, very nearly causes a crash. Either way, Ericsson is going to gain at least 2 points of his 23-point deficit, and so it's still not below 20, which I guess is the headline there. And Linus Broström will get that little bit closer. Started this race 17 behind, I think. He should be closer to, certainly less than 15 behind anyway after this stage.
This is getting close. So stage comes out, the drivers will be coming in as we basically get to properly sunset now. And it's going to be, by the time they end the pace track period, for about 22 minutes or so left of the race, and a straight fight for the end of the evening. A couple of drivers are staying out. Löwen, Joel Wallen, they are all choosing to stay out. They are thinking there's going to be cautions later, and there's going to be opportunities to basically use up the newer tyres and make benefits of that. But it's only going to work if we have a long green flag run, then a caution where they get some offset. If it's already in 5 laps time, and then we go green to the end from there, then they're pretty screwed.
Yeah, well, they could try and stay out the whole way. We'll see. There are more of them staying out this time round, and I think that is slightly because the first part of the race has taken quicker to get through this time round than the first part of the race last time round, which saw us getting to the stage break well after halfway. It was just before halfway this time, although our restart will be after it. So I think that is a little reason why the top 9 have decided to stay out. But also I think that's mostly made up of drivers who have sort of not involved in the championship and have thought, well, this is maybe my best chance at a race win here, doing something strange, getting track position and holding on to that through some cautions later on in this race. And I don't blame them for that, trying to get a race win that way.
This is quite remarkable. The races that we've been seeing tonight, the Bohlin's doubleheader, has been some sort of evening. There's only 7 races, 7 evenings of action this season. This double header brings us up to 8 total races. It's a short season compared to the 19-20 that we've had in the previous couple of years, with the playoffs at the end is all about getting the points on the board. And that's something that we saw a bit of a struggle for Broström and Ericsson, having multiple troubles in the first race. Even Ericsson was barely inside the top 10. And once again, they're P11, 12 and 15 as we stand. So it's certainly a track where the championship protagonists are struggling, and that keeps the championship close as we head towards the final 2 rounds of the season. In a couple of weeks' time, we go to Pocono, and then a couple of weeks after that, we go to Las Vegas. We've got a 200-mile-ish race in both of those events, and it's certainly going to be a tough one to round out the season. We're going to have Christian Löwen and Joel Bohlin keeping us up for grabs this time. And to be honest, Ewan, what's your guess? How many laps do you think we can get this time?
I don't know if I want to guess. I feel like I'm tempting fate. I'll go with 15 or so. I think we are going to see so. We have started to see signs, I think, of a longer run here, and that objective of a stage does tend to interrupt things a little bit. So I think this will be a little bit longer than certainly the runs we saw through race 1. But who knows? We've got a jumbled up field again, so maybe that won't help.
And just like we saw in the first race, 6 cars, the top 3 rows are on old tyres. They didn't take tyres at the stage. Everyone else in behind is going to be coming for them. In towards turn number 1 for the iRacing. Löwen gets us underway for the Bohlin's doubleheader, race number 6 of the season. Joel Bohlin cuts down to the inside. We're already seeing someone go way on the high line, trying to avoid all of the action. And is there a crash already? It looks like we are going to be going under. Oh, it's Fagerberg, your winner from the stage. He pits, he goes down into the pack, and then he gets involved in an incident.
Well, that is a real shame. A real shame for him, because a lot of the top guys had dropped down because of that, and just as I saw that restart, I was beginning to regret my words already, because you could see the aggression of those top guys trying to get through some of the slower guys. I mean, look at this. Jesper Ericsson again looking 3 wide. Oscar Fredriksson for some reason on the outside wall, and Fagerberg just makes a bit of contact with those in front of him. Jesper Ericsson involved, Peter Helmbro involved. Oh. There's some big contact there, just off screen to the left, and some top names caught up in it as well.
I think it was the 41 of Bjorn Broström taking a huge hit on the side of the 37, who's been battered and bruised today. Wow, what a tough season Ericsson is having. I mean, he's still 3rd place in the championship, so it's not like it's that bad and 4 points off coming into this evening. However, yet to get a win, and he's struggled in a lot of the races. That's why he hasn't got the win. The reason why in previous seasons he's got all these wins is because he's been able to control the race, get out the front, get the stage win, etc. This year it's just been very, very difficult. Of course, you know, after the New Year's in 2026, we'll go racing for season 9. We go back to the Xfinity car as well, and we start a whole new season. So that is one good thing, where we have a split season rather than one long one. We've got a second opportunity.
Yeah, I suppose so, and I do like the shorter season in that we don't have to have any sort of playoffs for it either, and I think we're seeing the fruits of that a little bit with a very close championship this season, although Ericsson is starting to make some headway now. Broström's the only one who's really left in this race without any damage to sort of close in further, and if he does finish ahead of Ericsson, the chances are he'll be below 10 points behind him going into the last 2 races of the season. But I must admit, I enjoyed the long season last time, about through 24-25. Ended in a championship finale that had a lot of drama within it. Jesper Ericsson holding off Eric Blix on a long green flag run towards the line. It was a proper race between those two, and in the end the best driver probably did win, but it was over the course of a long season and a lot of work putting into that, which I must say I did enjoy. I can see the advantages of either.
Yeah, there certainly is. There's a lot of discussion, I'll see in the real world, about how the format is. There's no perfect format. I think that is the answer. It just depends what style of racing that you want to have and what type of championship that you want to have. Drivers are getting 2x2 once more. Loven leads from Bohlin. A couple of drivers who also are not necessarily in the championship position that they would have wanted at this point. Loven is in 18th place in the standings. Joel Bohlin in 14th place. Neither of them, only Loven having one top 5 finish, Bohlin not having any at all so far. So they definitely need to be jumping up there a little bit. They are 60-70 points off the standings, off the lead coming into this round. So it's getting to the crunch time if they want to really get up to the top positions, because there's already a bit of a breakaway by the top 5 in the standings. So these are important races for them, and especially a double header here. I mean, this is a quarter of the season happening here tonight in 2 short races at Iowa. That is a lot of emphasis needs to be put on these races, that is for sure. You've got Yokoshu and Gantz on the second row as well. There are some drivers who could do with these points. We're going to be coming back to the green flag once more. Christian Leuven in the number 6 machine. He's going to be taking us to the green flag once again. Pace truck comes in. And here at Iowa, we get to green flag racing once more. Let's see how far we're going to go this time around. Terrible start from Bohlin on the outside. That's going to allow Yokoshu to already get up into second place as we work our way in towards turn number 1. How aggressive does Bohlin want to be on the outside, though? In that blue machine, he's making it stick around the outside. He's using all the space that he can. He's got the momentum and retakes second place.
Well, 3 wide again with Gunnarsson on the inside. He gets away with that just about as he tries to get past 2 in 1. Hagman and Hackenschott, who's stuck on the outside here. Somebody on the outside wall as well, right in front of Linus Broström, who's trying to go through the middle 3 wide. He needs to make points on Overton, as we were just talking about in the state. Oh dear, it's outside wall again for somebody. I think that's Forsland again, who's found the outside wall. Oh, Gunnarsson's still on the inside of this 3 wide moment, this time with Robert Eriksson in the middle.
He was very fortunate. You saw Marcus Hagman turn out of that in turn 3. Oh, for the lead though, contact for the lead. Bohlin on the inside of Leuven in towards turn number 1. Well, the exit of 4, they were side by side, and that caused a bit of door banging. And it looks like the 43 is going to hit the front after starting at the back. He was P26. He had a terrible run in the first race. Off into the wall goes Yokoshu. Is he going to be able to keep that? Is he going to be spinning around? Leuven's in the wall. They're all in the wall. They've got no grip out there.
No, and Bohlin is a sitting duck now for Linus Broström, who's the best placed on new tyres, coming through with one of his teammates, Alexander Auersen, following him. Gunnarsson's occupying him at the moment. They're both on new tyres, though, don't forget. Gunnarsson pulls in front of him as they realise the importance of trying to get in front of Joel Bohlin while they can.
And Linus Broström takes the lead. Gunnarsson is going to come through in second place. Joel Bohlin is doing his best to hold on. But as you say, Ewan, he's the highest place with the old tyres. It's not going to be working in the long run. Arroton is going to come through for third place as well, as it looks like these top drivers have taken the best strategy option this time around after making some issues. Gunnarsson for the lead, though, up the inside of 3. Wasn't sure the door was quite open, but Linus, allowing that to happen, slides up against the wall at exit 4. And they are pulling away massively from the mid-pack. Leuven's already down 2 seconds off lead in 8th place. I think we're 3 wide coming into turn 1 in the back.
The battle for 6th place is ludicrous, as well as this battle for the lead as well, which is going on. Broström holding rock steady on the outside line, but Gunnarsson just seems to be faster on that inside. He's able to cut that white line a lot better than anybody else at the moment, as Broström gets the run off the corners each time. He's just not got the mid-corner speed to hold off Gunnarsson, who just edges him out wide slightly. Through into 1 there, and Broström has to tuck back into line again. 5 points, by the way, between first and second. That's why Broström fighting so hard for them.
as they swapped over from high line to low line. Almost some contact between the two. The 33 leads us with 15 minutes to go. What a race we've got on our hands here. The new tyres are so much better. I mean, Gans and P6 is already 3 seconds off these guys. They're pushing so hard at the front. There's an incredible battle, by the way, from Gans all the way down to Motin. The back end of the top 10, Helmbro's just got through to 6th place. But the top 3 we have to keep an eye on, because this is the championship. This is where the points are up for grabs as well. And now that they've got their name to the top, they're getting the big points too.
Yeah, this battle, thankfully, for 6th place Hotback has just calmed down as well. Peter Helmbro is now in the leading position. Oh, as Bolker looks to the inside of Christian Gans. He can't quite make that work. This is where a lot of the old tyre runners are now running, by the way. Jacques Schuh and Robert Ericsson have dropped to the back of this group. Christian Gans is another one of those drivers, and I feel like he is about to be overtaken by quite a lot of people.
This just shows you maybe pitting at that caution was the best choice, but the longer we go, the more offset we get. So when we get a late caution, if we get a late caution, those who then stop for the new tyres will be able to absolutely blast through this field with a big tyre offset. Let's see how this one goes, because Gunnarsson is now leading by over half a second. Brostrom can't keep up with him, and Ayrton has been like, oh, come on, we need to chase him down. Yes, Gunnarsson did have an issue in one of the races. He's 8th place in the championship, 44 points off, so maybe don't have to worry so much, but they still would want to get those extra 5 points. But also, this is a championship battle. 3 points between these two drivers in the standings coming into this race.
Yeah, obviously Ericsson gained some of those, quite a lot of those actually, in the previous race. He nearly times his advantage by 6 because of the advantage that he had in race 1 over Linus Brostrom, who got caught up in trouble in race 1 tonight. So he'll be even more desperate to lead the pair home. But you just wonder whether Gunnarsson's going out a bit too hard on these tyres. They're nearly 20 laps complete on these tyres now, but if we go green from now to the end, which could be unlikely, but if we do, there'd be another 30 laps nearly on those tyres to be completed. So he's got to be careful. He doesn't run those into the ground too early.
That is very true. We do see some big drop-offs. We've already done 20 laps on these tyres. I mean, Joel Wallen has already done 63, as that is the amount of laps we've done. He's not stopped yet in this race, and he's still holding on in 5th position. We're seeing a nice live shots, I should say. Back end of the top 10 is Jacques Schuh just squeezing himself up inside the top 10, getting past Oscar Fredriksson. But this is some important points for these guys' championships as well. You never know how every position is a point, so you never know how many points you're going to need at the end. If you get a couple of places now, those couple of points could be crucial when we get to Las Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why they're all going to fight so hard for these at the moment. But they're keeping it within reason right now. This Jacques Schuh down the inside. He's got no tyres. Oh, and he very nearly drifted up straight into the side there of Hackenschott, who's in 9th place at the moment. Schott did a very interesting and smart thing, by the way, just before the stage break. He came in at that caution beforehand. So he did that 1 lap of that stage under these new tyres, but he stayed out under the stage break caution where everybody else came in. So he actually really gained out of that, but unfortunately it didn't really look like it when we restarted this race proper after the stage. Unfortunately, he did get overtaken quite quickly by a lot of the top guys, and Jacques Schuh now, who's right behind him, is on 40 lap older tyres nearly, and is looking pretty racy behind him.
Certainly is, and he gets back through. Hackenschott struggling for a few corners there, goes a bit wide, and unfortunately not able to do much with that one. And I'm looking on the top screen as well, because Tony Uverden, he's not out of this. He's just about keeping up with the top 3. He's 2 seconds off from the 84 machine. He's having a stonking run in the championship. He's 5th place coming into this, only 9 points off the lead of the championship before the 2 races tonight. I mean, that's incredible. 9 points off the likes of Alex Ayrton after 4 rounds. He's having an amazing season, and he's keeping himself within check right now. He's an outside dark horse for this championship. You keep an eye on that 84 machine with just 2 rounds to go at the end of this evening. We're inside the final 11 minutes.
Yep, we are in a proper green flagged run, you've got to say, as well. And Ayrton and Brostrom's gap has just fluctuated around a little bit here. Ayrton just backed away a few attempts in the last few laps, but he's now right back with his teammate again, Linus Brostrom, who's not yet been able to make inroads into Jonas Gunnarsson's lead. And so Ayrton's getting tired of this now. He goes to the inside. And is that Brostrom saying, well, I've not been able to catch up, so you have a go?
Well, Brostrom, of course, also a bit more of a team manager over there. He has that in the back of his head, although, to be fair, we know he races for himself. He loves winning here. He's already got 1 win so far this season back at Charlotte, the Cancer Awareness 400, and he's trying to obviously add that to his list, but not enough this time. I don't think he's quite fast enough. Gunnarsson is gone. Ayrton is gone. He now needs to hold on to Oven, I should say, in that 4th position. And Broström is just falling back here. He's now half a second off his teammate.
Yeah, just limit the damage here at the race. He's got to make sure, hope, I guess, he can't really do anything. Hope that Gunnarsson keeps Ayrton behind, because that would completely negate the stage point gains that Broström made. Mean that Ayrton gained points on all of his championship rivals in both races tonight if he's able to run down Gunnarsson and get past him as well. Joel Bohlin still hasn't been into the pit lane in this race, and now he's starting to pay the price. Peter Helmbrough's in the top 5. Lars Bauker's now up to 6th place. Bohlin needs a caution very, very soon, because shortly he's not going to be able to have the time remaining in this race to make use of the fresh tyres that he would have a bit of an offset for.
But he's got to be careful, because he might cord the tyres. You can absolutely go and puncture the tyres, and if we go green to the end, I think, he's already done 72 laps. I think he might get there. If you do 90 plus laps on these tyres at this track, you can start to get to that point. Let's see how he's going to look after them. But yeah, he basically needs a caution, because he's not going to pit on the green. That is for sure. A big slide to the inside there from Lars Bulker on the inside of Peter Helmbrough, as Leuven gets a meatball after looking so good earlier on in this race, leading at the front for a little bit. Bulker diving up the inside, trying to make this work. This is for 5th position. He's working his way forward. Helmbrough squeezes him up towards the wall. Helmbrough keeps out of the wall, but Bulker should finally have this position. They are on the same tyre strategy, but Bulker looking faster right now.
Yeah, very nice pass there for the top 5, and yeah, he is looking a little bit better right now out of these two than Peter Helmbrough in car 77. So 8 minutes to go. Still good 15 laps left in this race. See where he can get to, but those gaps up in front are probably a little bit too large now. Tony Uvenen, though, and Linus Broström are battling amongst themselves, so that might help those behind.
I wonder how everything's going to look at the end of this final 8 minutes. We've got a driver jumping down pit lane there on the Sim Race Sweden cars. Uvenen is going for 3rd place. He's got Broström here. Broström does not have the speed. I tell you what, he's dropping off, and he's trying to hold it on this outside line, but the 84 is coming for him. They're on the same age tyres as well. Broström just does not have the speed at this point of the race. He's able to hold on and keep that 3rd position for now, but certainly not necessarily what he would have wanted. And by the way, everyone inside the top 7 has made big gains in this race. Gunnarsson is up 11 positions, Ayrton 15, Uvenen 16, Bulker 16, Helmbrough 19, Bohlin 19. This is a race from coming from the back.
Yeah, Linus Broström, the only one who hasn't, of course, but you would imagine even if he had a better race one, he would have done. But hard to say, obviously, since he did have a pretty bad first race tonight. But as you said earlier, Tony Uvenen is turning into a proper outside contender for this championship this season. Only one top 5 finish in the 4 races preceding these two tonight, which is pretty low for a driver in the top 5 of the championship itself. But he's giving this a proper go right now. If he could get past Broström, that would be a big statement.
Yes, it certainly would. Less than 7 minutes to go in this race. We've had 78 laps of action. We've gone to lap 79, and it is Broström holding on from 2nd place. I tell you what, Ayrton is getting a little bit closer to Gunnarsson as well. So don't think that one is over just yet as they get past one of the back markers. That's 19. That's Eckers. Uvenen sees an open door up the inside. He's got to be careful not to turn the 71 machine. Backs out of that one, but might slow him down onto this start-finish straight. I think Linus had to get out of it a little there, out towards the wall. So Uvenen's got the run towards turn 1, but Linus covers that one off. It's such high-intensity racing. It just keeps on going around this track.
Yeah, it does. And Broström will be feeling like this is a very long 6 minutes ahead because he's under severe pressure. Uvenen's line, though, into 3 just wasn't quite right. He needed to stay a bit higher to open out the corner, but he's still alongside. Maybe shows the deficiencies in Linus Broström's car at the moment. He seems to be struggling. Tony Uvenen having a better time of things at the moment on that low line. Can he now get clear? He's got his nose in front. The objective now in this next lap or so is to properly get clear.
This is awesome battle between these two drivers for the final place on the podium. The top 2 are gone. This is it. This is the best position they're going to get today. And Uvenen is trying, but Broström does not want to give it up. He knows how important this point could be for his championship, as his rival Eracingligan is right up ahead of him, a couple of seconds up the road. Uvenen is still there. They've been side by side for 3, 4, 5 laps now. Let's see if anyone is going to make a mistake in this, but Broström is pushing hard. He's trying his best to hold on, especially from someone like Uvenen, a sort of independent driver in this championship who's not really going to be working with anyone later on. He needs to get this point.
It's a fierce battle between these two, and it's a very good job that they've got such a gap behind them to Lars Bohlin. 3 seconds they've got, and so this side-by-side is not going to matter, because they were never going to catch Gunnarsson or Eracingligan anyway. They might as well fight hard for third, and I feel like whoever gets in front is going to be going to have the place to the finish. There might just not be enough time remaining for the other one to work on a move to get back in front again in for third, and I think they both realise the importance of this. Uvenen chases Broström up the racetrack and out of the groove there. You can see that black tarmac on the inside. He's outside of it for the first time, and he's down to 4th.
Lovely racing between these two drivers. They're giving each other just enough space, but Uvenen working up high, just holding Broström off for now. The 71 gets the run, 4 minutes remaining in the race. Looking at the previous laps, Bulka's actually, despite the battle here, Bulka's actually going slower. So it's amazing stuff as 71 tries to come back. He gets his nose up the inside. It's role reversal now as he's trying to hold on down the back straight. But I think Uvenen, by maybe a couple of hundredths of a second, is the slightly faster driver and is just able to hold on. Is Broström going to keep on fighting, as this would be very crucial for him?
Yeah, it's massively crucial. Just 2 points now being lost to Eracingligan, who could gain himself another 5 if he gets past Gunnarsson in this last 3.5 minutes. He's not all that far away from achieving that. But by the way, what you predicted to happen to Joel Bohlin has happened. He's had to come in and make a green flag pit stop because those tyres were so ruined. This race is going to go over 90 laps, nearly 20 laps more now than what we had in race 1.
And that is pretty crazy. Just shows you can get green flag racing around here. It only took us an hour and a half or so, maybe even an hour and 45 minutes to try and get to that position. But what we've seen now is finally what Iowa is all about. This relentless racing. You can go side by side for so long. We've got the different lines to play as well. And now the tyres are wearing. The drivers are going to be struggling more and more. The fact that we've had such a long green flag run, we've done 45 laps on these tyres already. They're not looking too good. We're already over a second off the pace, and the drivers are moving around a lot.
Yeah, they certainly are. And at the end of this lap, they're going to have 6 to go, I think. And that's quite a lot if you're Jonas Gunnarsson, with Eracingligan so close behind you. And maybe not enough if you're Broström, and you're looking actually a little bit better since Uvenen got past him. Looking like now he's got somebody to follow. He can just maybe sneak past to the line, but it's going to be very difficult based on the battle we were seeing earlier.
Certainly is, and there's a few positions being swapped a little bit further down as well. Moten and Holmer, they just swap positions. They swap back again. That's for 12th place. Both drivers, you might be, especially Dan Holmer, might be expecting a little bit higher, but not quite enough this time as we jump to that battle. This is Moten in the white car, the sister teammate of Dan Holmer. And these are still important battles as we get inside the final 2 minutes. The Bohlin's doubleheader coming to an end. A lot of points on offer tonight, and it's certainly going to shake up the championship quite a bit. Jesper Eriksson, P23, he's completely out of the race. He's going to lose a lot of points, and he's got so much ground to make up in the final 2 rounds.
Yeah, and that really is not... Oh, Uvenen very wide. Now, was he forced there by Broström somehow, or did he just do it on his own? That's very bizarre, and you saw the way the car started to bobble around there on the outside, by the way. That's, you know that you can run the high line a little bit around here. Certainly don't have to run the white line all the way round, but you can't run that high up. What was Uvenen doing there? He kind of thought that was a better line. He probably just missed it, to be fair. He just entered quite high. He might have just missed his line, but that's completely gifted. Third place to Broström, and there's a caution to end the race.
And that, as you say, Ewan, will end the race. Jonas Gunnarsson will be taking victory. Löwen in 6 has got a meatball with a minute remaining. The 33 has been unstoppable in this long green flag run since the stage caution. We thought we might get something similar to this, and we did. We finally calmed down. The 33 worked his way to the front, and now, thanks to this caution, is just 30 seconds away from breaking the streak of Polski Logistics, who've won the first 4 races of the season. Here's the 6, who was up towards the front for a long time. Oh, it's Eck in the 19 going slow, puts him off. and then a big hit into the wall on the right-hand side of the front stretch. But he was certainly held up a little bit on the exit of 4, and that did not help his day. He was leading through multiple of the restarts earlier this race, but in the end is going to be finishing way down. What a night we've had here at Iowa, as it looks like we're going to roll through to have another final processional lap to celebrate Gunnarsson and coming through with his victory as the white flag comes out.
Yeah, so lap 94, exactly 20 laps longer this race than the one we saw previous, and just shows you the difference that can be made with so many fewer cautions. A much better second race, some good fights as well. Ericsson might feel he could have got past Gunnarsson had he had that extra few laps, but I'm not sure that he could have. He will be pleased with the day. He finishes ahead of all of his major championship rivals, although as far as this race is concerned, with stage and race points added up, Linus Broström will gain on Ericsson only a little bit though. Ericsson's gap will go from just 3 points over second and 4 points over third to over 10 points to everybody at the end of tonight.
As we come around the final corner, it's going to be the 33 of Jonas Gunnarsson following the pace truck as he wins race 6 of the season. The Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's Oval Series, the Bohlin's doubleheader, goes to Jonas Gunnarsson. And just like we saw previously, ending under the caution here at Iowa is going to be Ericsson and Broström rounding out the podium in another strong result for Polski Logistics, who are looking good for the Constructors' Championship as well. The 33 will race around, I'm sure, to do some donuts. Uvenen as well, continuing his strong season, is going to be big points gained. Jesper Eriksson, your other championship rival down in P23. Oliver Wallen not here tonight, and it might be a 3-driver breakaway up towards the front, but you cannot take it away from Jonas Gunnarsson here, who was so strong in that Alcantec car. He's got no teammates out there this season. He's fighting himself, and he's taking it to the big names, as we're certainly going to be fed some nice donuts. The fastest short track on the planet, certainly not tonight with all the laps that we did behind the pace truck. And the 33 struggling there to do a bit of a burnout. So we'll go on to the grass, but let's take you through the results. It was Jonas Gunnarsson in the end taking the win, with Ericsson, Broström rounding out the podium. Uven and Bulka, Helmbro in behind with Jokashu, Hockenschott, Hagman and Kjellberg inside the top 10. Those final 4 drivers, they had an up and down race, but ended up with some nice points. Gantz, Holmer, Motin and Kenneth Tier, then Robert Eriksson as well rounded out the top 15. Final driver on the lead lap was Bjorn Broström. Fredriksson, Wallen and Ek Leuven, the drivers a few laps down before we're going to see the absolute carnage in behind. Forsberg, Forsland, Eriksson, Fagerberg from obviously the fastest lap of the race on lap 8, leading the way. Stage win, but not enough in the end. Skoglund and Erling will be at the back of the pack. But let's take some words from some of the drivers from today's race. Let's first get Jonas in. The number 33, first race victory of the season. You're down in 8th place in the championship before tonight as well. So this is certainly going to boost up your points very much. First of all, take us through that final restart and how you worked your way to the front.
I don't remember. It was so many restarts, but I went aggressive at the restart there and was aggressive until I got the lead, and then I was like... try to build a gap around 1 second and try to manage the tires after that and try to keep the gap between 0.5 and 1 second. So it worked out.
And how was it? I mean, also take us back to the first race of the evening as well. We barely got more than 3 laps, 5 laps maybe, on a green flag run. How difficult was that to reset your brain every time? Because you didn't know, really, if it was going to end up being like this, where you get a 50, 60 lap run to the end.
Yeah, the mindset going into it was like save tires, and it went completely wrong on that strategy. And it's a really bad bump if you start on P2 first gear. So I managed to hit that at the restart, and the car just went right. I had nothing I could do. So
absolutely,
that was that race.
Yeah, I think Jesper helped you a little bit in the back as well. What did you feel like having a double header, so many points on offer? you certainly gained a little bit of ground back with Jesper having a bad race tonight. There's still outside chances of you winning this championship. What do you think you can do in the final 2 races at Pocono and then Las Vegas?
Yeah, Pocono and Las Vegas usually be strong courses for me. Took my first win in Swedish iRacing on Las Vegas, so I hope I can do that again. So.
That will certainly be good. So yeah, congratulations for keeping calm and taking victory here in race number 6. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
And then we will bring in Linus Broström, having a difficult day, Linus, in the 71 machine. Considering you got a podium today on the results, you had quite a few incidents. Obviously, it's 2 races tonight, but just take us through your, I guess, maybe your frustrations with how you ended up in so many incidents.
Well, I don't know. It was a decent day overall, I think. Good stage points in the first race. That won't matter at all, since that will probably be my drop race. With the crash, I'm not really sure what happened, but obviously you probably saw it just got wiped out, so it is what it is. But I don't know if we played the wrong strategy, pitted too late, had to work our way up through the field, and if it would have gone green a bit, I think we could have been up in the top 5 maybe a bit better, but you know, 1 set of tires and you get 10 cautions to pick when you got a pit. So I think overall we did a good job, but the result wasn't there. Second race, a bit better, had a good start. And then obviously chose the right tire strategy this time. Pushed a bit too hard at the beginning and Jonas just had too much pace. I couldn't keep him behind me, and then Alex saved tires and passed me, and thankfully I was able to beat Tony for 3rd place. That's going to be important for the team's championship at least. So and second in the stage as well. So good stage points for the team's championship in both races. And yeah, so overall I think I'm pretty happy with the way I raced. But one big incident and a lot of incidents overall as an organizer is obviously not what I wanted to see, because the first race was going to play out a lot different with the tires had it gone green. But you know, it is what it is. It's short track racing.
It sure is. A lot of cautions out there. How did you find that as a driver, having to stop, start, work out when you're going to do the pit, and you know, in your case, trying to go long in that first race? It must have been very frustrating to have all the stoppages.
Well, short track racing is kind of my thing, you know, on iRacing, but when you got to plan when to pit in a race like this, it gets kind of frustrating, and you got to guess, and some people pit now, some pit later, and you know, if you had a set amount of laps to race like you do in official races, it's a bit different. But here, for every caution, you got to take away another 8 laps, and all of a sudden you're on the wrong end. So, I mean, with the way I set up this race, with it being a timed race at 50 minutes, I made it worse for everyone, I think, to choose a strategy. And for the final race, we definitely chose the wrong strategy. We had 1 more caution after we pitted. But thankfully, we did, but with 1 minute left, so it was race over anyway. So how we had a caution with 10 minutes left, we would have been outside the top 10. So, you know, it's a gamble, and sometimes you get the right one, and sometimes you get the wrong one. And today, just like at Charlotte, I kind of got the right one, so, you know.
Yeah, it certainly works out in the end sometimes. So at least you got a podium at the end, and congratulations on the stage points as well. So we'll speak to you next time.
Thank you.
And then we will bring in Alex Ayrton, the number 24, getting 2nd place in the end of this race number 6. But Alex, that was certainly a crazy evening with all the cautions, and then even in that first race, the strategy not really going your way, really dropping down quite a bit. So yeah, first of all, take us through this race number 6 and your thoughts on 2nd place.
Race number 6, that was the 2nd race. Yeah. Well, the first race, to begin with, my strategy before the race, I said if we get a lot of cautions in the first stage, I'm gonna pit at the stage break, take tires, and then it's gonna have to, you know, either I win or not. But I didn't follow through that strategy, and so that didn't go my way. And in the 2nd race, well, we decided we'll take tires at the stage break, and then, you know, if it goes green, then great. If it doesn't, then at least we can maybe salvage a I don't know, top 5, top 10. And in the end, I finished second. I would have needed maybe another 10-15 minutes of racing there to get an advantage with my long run pace, which I thought was pretty good and has been all week when we practice and run practice races. So yeah, but in the end, second place is quite good.
Indeed, and you gained quite a lot of points on Linus and Jesper in the first race of the evening. You gained a lot of points to Jesper in the second race, and you beat Linus. So you're looking good in the championship. Gained a lot of points tonight. How are you feeling going to Pocono next time?
Not good at all. I'm not confident at all, because Pocono is probably my worst track on the whole circuit. So I'm just going to have to try to follow Linus's footsteps and try to imitate whatever he does on the track, and then just try to get as many points as I can to maybe try to keep the lead if I'm still in the lead.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So yeah, congratulations on a podium tonight, and we'll speak to you next time.
Cheers, thank you.
And that concludes the interviews here tonight at Iowa. It was a crazy action. Pace car came out so many times, but finally we ended with a long green flag run that Jonas Gunnarsson came out on top with Aronson and Broström on the podium. But that is not all this season. We have 2 races left. Next we go to Pocono in a couple of weeks' time, and then it will be Las Vegas a couple of weeks after that. We already get into December. Wow, the season is really coming to an end here in 2025, and don't forget, we go back to the Road Course Series next week for the final race at Donington in the Porsche Cup. So until then, or in a couple of weeks' time, we wish you a very warm goodbye.